Okay, it says I'm live, and I apologize for any technical
Auto shutdown
that may
initiated.
be happening. I think in the description I wrote I have a picture of evil, and I'm having YouTube an error message. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. So I'm sorry about this. I tried some adjustments. I'll try some more as we begin this adventure into. I'm not sure what it's an adventure into.
Auto shutdown cancelled.
There we go. Let me see if I can do a sound check and get that set up to go. And I think in the description I wrote I have it. Here we go. I heard something. So I guess we're going. And yeah, we're in a difficult situation now. We'll wait for people to come in and collect and gather, and then I'll go on a rant. Because what I've just seen, it disturbed me, I have to say. And it's going to disturb you. I have a video. So I should get that set up and ready to go. And, I'm calling it the Disposable Man. Oh, God, help us. Whoops. Let me just switch this. There we go. And, I think it's there. So, yeah. Oh my, there it is.
He is wicked! Hold the line! Hold the line! He's bleeding out of here! Grab these two guys right now. Get him medic! Grab these two guys right now. You're walking up on me! I'm looking down! Out of the way! Y'all don't want that
Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back. Get back.
Better get an ambulance for him.
We have EMT on.
I know that some of these men have been brutalized. I see that. I wonder if you got that video. He says, I wonder if you got that video. And, hey, there we are, Wookie. Yes, not the old man bleeding out of his fucking ears again. And, yeah. I hate when that happens. My God. And it's, it's not that the guy pushed him. Okay, that's we have all these big, strong young men. And we have an old man, and it's not that, okay, they fucked up and they pushed him and he fell and no one expected him to hit his head. It's, it's this picture I have. It's the picture of the men, without any decency walking by, in formation. You look at that picture and you say, this is not the way it should be. They should not be doing that. They should hold off and find out about the old man, because one day they will be old men. Well, maybe not at this rate, not at this rate, because anything is better than that. I'm going to say this. Anything is better than what I see. By anything, I mean law of the jungle. At least that's not a government doing this and expecting people to just say, oh, yeah. But, it's not that the guy pushed him, the guy fell. It's everything that happened afterwards. And, we're going to find out, I think right now, that they initially said he tripped and fell. Not that he was pushed. And so they lied about it. You see, again, they lied. They lied in Minnesota, and they lied here. So it's not an issue of an event. It's a system issue. So the system is rotten, and then the Governor Cuomo, comes out and says it's utterly disgraceful. And, in my description, I wrote, no, Governor, what's disgraceful is you did not resign. Why should he resign? Well, he's ultimately responsible for the lying Not the push. Not the push. The push wasn't what did it. Yes, Wookie, I appreciate that. The old man should have stayed home. Maybe he should have. And, it's America. Home of the stay-at-home people. Yeah. Home of the sheeple. Okay. I gotcha. Some men are not going to stay at home. And they're going to go out and become disposable. And we see what it is. It's, we know that if, maybe this is his fight. He's 75 years old. Maybe he decided that this was his fight. That his country is not going to become what it has become. Or if it has become what it has become, that he's going to, show it. So, yeah, if he stayed at home, well, we wouldn't have seen what America has become. The police are violent and lie about it. And the governor won't be accountable for it. He won't do what he should do. The system is broke. Not, again, because the guy pushed him, but that the reaction of all the men should have been to say stop and help the old man. Then they should have walked on. And, there's a curfew. Well, I don't know about that, in America, to tell you the truth. Here we have a violent, lying...
Auto shutdown initiated.
Stay at home. So, what is this? Is this America? Is this the America I know? No, it's not. Even going back, other than, maybe, the suspension of habeas corpus during the Civil War unilaterally by Abraham Lincoln, if we go back that far, well, yeah, okay. But that was, I thought, an aberration. Now it seems to be systemic. But, if we want to admit that, yeah, one guy with one foot in the grave, he should stay at home, then maybe all Americans should stay at home. And then, we're into the Soviet Union, right? And, this is just wrong for America. And, that people cannot, do this, and they cannot assemble peaceably without having the police hit you and then lie about it. It's the lying. So it's not just the action of one rogue, police officer. This is systemic now. There's a problem with the system, and the system goes from that cop to everyone else who saw it and did not speak when they knew the lie was being made, and then to the chief of the Buffalo Police, and then to the mayor of Buffalo, who did not fire the chief of police after the lie came out, and to the governor, who did not fire the mayor of the town, and then fire the police chief, have to take over the town's government, because that town, apparently, Buffalo, it cannot seem to run itself. It cannot manage itself. And that Cuomo did not do that just shows that he's unable to run his state. At some point, you have to make the decision that this is, unacceptable in America, or it's acceptable in the USSA, which is the fear, right? This is the fear. We have one disposable man. We have the police officers who were told to act in a callous way and lie about it. And then, this is what we see. We see a video coming out, and then they have to tell the truth. Why don't they tell the truth? They're being paid to tell the truth, aren't they? I thought that's what people paid. Apparently not. Right now, they not only lied to the people, they also lied to the mayor. They lied to the chief of the Buffalo Police. They lied to the mayor of Buffalo, the city council of Buffalo. And then they lied to the governor of the state. Right? So, we have a system of lies, and there has to be accountability for this. It's really not about the man anymore. Yeah, maybe he should have stayed at home. Maybe he shouldn't have protested. Maybe there's no value in it for him, or maybe there was. And maybe, he's going to die, and maybe it's murder. And maybe he's, this is his Mount Everest. He had one lifetime to do something great. He missed World War II, and he's going to make up for it. This is his war. Okay. He thinks his community is under attack. Okay. He finds value in standing up. Okay. I don't know what was going through his mind to show up like this. I'm having real issues on the video showing. Does anyone else see that? Let me put the chat up here. Does anyone else? Is anyone seeing the picture and whatnot? We've got a number of lurkers here. Wookie, I don't know who else is here, but we've got a bad situation. We've got another situation which is nearing identical to the Minnesota, in that we have police using unacceptable force and then lying about it. And then the people who should take responsibility for this systemic breakdown, they don't take accountability and responsibility and resign. Like, in this one, I would think that after that lie, that, and the mayor doesn't fire the chief of police right there, the mayor should resign. Get somebody who will not be lied to. In a system, you can't have people lying to you, otherwise you get tyranny. This is what it is. These people are allowed to have guns, they're allowed to walk in force, they're being paid money to do it. You can't have them lying to you. This is just as clear as day. In any system, you can't have people lying, especially lying to the people who pay your salary, which is, the old man himself. You can't hit the old man and then lie about it to his face. That's nasty. So I don't know what's going on with America. It's not that accidents don't happen. Accidents happen, but you come clean. This is accountability. This is responsibility. This is a system that functions and is in a sustainable way. Yeah, okay then. We got it. We got it then. It may be coming in and out because I'm getting messages. Now I got an excellent connection. I had YouTube wasn't getting enough, and then I had no data coming from YouTube. But thanks for that update. It seems now it's an error again. So I got no idea. I think a lot of people are up. I think the internet is being strained. And if a droid can win your game, he should be free to do so. Jesus, what game is that? I'm not sure. I don't know. We seem to have droids walking by. That picture just shows them, just forgetting that the old man is there, forgetting that one of their numbers did that to an old man. And they're just walking by like nothing fucking happened, like they should walk by. The person that they're supposed to protect, they just injured seriously and are walking by. As opposed to stopping and saying, well, maybe we're doing this in the wrong way. Because, ultimately, there's nothing right about that. I don't think there's anything right about it. Yeah, death to droids. Yeah. No, I don't think droids are going to make it, actually. AI is going to be our downfall, I agree, because it's not going to be allowed by forces that I don't think we can understand, and we can do the small time, low level, algorithmic thinking, and then we can do maybe human level artificial intelligence, and we're about there. But when it gets to super intelligent artificial intelligence, I don't think that's going to be allowed. Yeah. Equal right for droids. It's going to come to that, isn't it? it's going to come to that, a person hits a machine and kills the machine, and the person sentenced to death. Are we moving into that world? That something as equivalent. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Thanks. I Episode 4. Is that like the second movie they made? Because they started with episode 4. That's the first movie. I thought that they started on the first of the second trilogy. Yeah. Well, I see. Yeah, it's a machine. Of course, it's fucking property. The minute you start giving it the rights of sentience, that's nuts. This is maybe a question we're at. I think that's one of the questions. We're abutting the very edge of artificial intelligence, which is the edge of our reality. Once we get super intelligent AI, we're basically going to be ants compared to that. Holy shit. And looking at what humans can do to other humans, what in the hell is a non-human sentience going to do to human sentience? It's going to be more callous than that. This is by all means the worst situation. Humans treating other humans like ants. This is Disposable Men. That man we pushed down bleeding from his ear on the road, he's disposable. That's it.
Powering off.
I think it's called speciesist, Wookie. It's a different species. I forget who made that up. Somebody made that up. It's not me, but speciesist. Yeah. So anyway, this is not a good situation. It leaves men aware of their choices. They can become like the policeman who pushed him down, or the other policeman told to walk on by, sing that fucking song. Walk on by, just walk on by. And in doing so, I think they become also disposable. They've lost something. If you can walk by that and not take your commanding officer and just slap him across the face and say, no, change your plans. That's my father, or that's my grandfather, or that's me in 40 years. So, no, change your plans. This is America. It's not the USSR. Unless you want it to be the USSA, sure, stay at fucking home, or you get treated like a disposable man. And we're saying to men, this is not your fight. It might have been that old man's fight, I don't know, but this is the disposability. And we're seeing the systemic breakdown. The governor can't seem to figure out to fire the mayor, who didn't fire the chief of police. And the chief of police supported lying about the whole incident until a video came out, and then he was forced to tell the truth. So how many other times are they lying? So we got a black man, we got a white man, we got a younger man, we got an older man. This is it. Men know this. MGTOW know this. It's the disposability of men. And you want to be one of those troops there. You want to do that. That's what you want to do. Is you want to, move into a police state, tell people they can't leave their homes, which is in violation of the Constitution. Maybe the British should have said, "Oh, you can't leave your home, Paul Revere. You can't go assemble. We've got a lockdown now, Paul Revere. Oh, yes, you're riding. No. There's a curfew. You can't ride your horse. One if by land, two if by sea. Oh, what a goofy man you are. It's curfew. You know the rules. Yeah, you see? Paul Revere. Fucking guy who broke curfew. There he is lying on the fucking ground with blood coming out of his fucking ear. There's your Paul Revere. There's Paul Revere. Lying on the ground. Hold on for a second. Hey. Oh, you're... Okay, then. Yeah. Maybe I mistitled this. It should have been Paul Revere gets pushed by British soldiers and fails to warn everyone. And thus America is taken over by the British and their nascent little rebellion for freedom has been quashed. Yeah, maybe that's it, you know? Maybe this is alternate history night. Yeah. They managed to declare a curfew. Had the British known back then. You know, it was like when I was growing up, it was damn, I could have had a V8. But now it's like, damn, I could have declared curfew. Stop that Paul Revere from riding. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this is not a good. This is not a good thing. It's apparently a Barren Exile. Are you Canadian? I think you're Canadian, aren't you? I hope you're Canadian. Although it's not much better there, but you know, there's a lot of fucking bending of fucking knees right now. You know, stay at home. You know, you look at it. It's a nice, bright, sunny night, and they don't want people out of their house in a nice, bright, sunny summer's night. You know, early summer. I guess we're June, just before the official. Yeah, this is what Buffalo. You know, I know that area of the world. Beautiful in this time of year. My God, it's lovely. Lovely territory. But fuck the people from Buffalo. They're in New York State. Fuck them. Stay at home. Don't think that you're American. And if you get in their way, we're going to push you to the ground. And we're going to walk by in formation just because we've been brutalized. So how many of those men have been brutalized and how many are psychopathic? Well, we know they're liars, so we know they're cowards. All of those men there have been made into cowards. Why? Why? This is the disposability of men, to turn men into cowards. No, anything's better than this. I mean, anything. What are those rioters going to do? Are they going to systematically brutalize the people of Buffalo? Look what they did. They systematically brutalized the people of Buffalo. You know, I point to that Australian woman who had her young son ripped away from her as she was walking down the street with a sandwich board, you know, accosted by the police and dragged off. You know, how many other, young, Australian women with little kids are protesting with their sandwich boards now? None. Why? Because, they've been beaten down. And everyone gets the message, right? People are going to get the message. They're going to fucking lie as long as they can. And it appears as though some of the times they're getting away with it. Yeah. Chicago? Yeah, see? You're a fucking... I don't know. None of it's good, is it, Barren Exile? What the fuck's going on? There was a move by the Minnesota City Council to disband the police. I think they should definitely get fucking rid of them. It doesn't mean that you just have no way to get people in front of judges. No, you'll still have ways to get people in front of judges. It's just it ain't going to be them. It's going to be, a whole new group of people. So what it means is you get rid of those groups of people because they're fucking horrible, lying, incompetence, and you get somebody else, and you sort of hope that they're better. I think that's it. Oh, Wookie. No, I got something. Hold on, let me check. How far back was that? No, I used the nice PH for the fuckers. You know, that was smart. Yeah. Hey, the stocked caregiver. No welfare, no pot growing. Yeah, well, it's not in Canada. Got to move to Canada to get those. Yeah. People are worried about you in Chicago. I see that. Nah, those little will eat you. Didn't make it onto the screen. I'm in live chat. It should be there. I don't see it. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that. Wookie. Again, let me get up here. There's a website that if you're gonna put anything that's sort of funny, just put it into that, and then I do a backwards effect and upside down effect, so it reverses and flips. You put it in, and we can read it pretty easily. Yes, that's right. Sorry, Bayman, you're absolutely right. I read today that they were going to form some other group to do the job. So yesterday it was defund, and I wrote a couple of comments talking about defunding, but in that there was some talk of having a new group sort of fill in that connection between, an arrest on the street, which could be made by, anyone, a citizen of the Republic of the United States of America, between the citizen making the arrest and the judge, then there will be some new body of people. So that's why I changed it to disband. So defund means you don't pay them and then they go away. So that's what I thought, because if they're not getting paid, they're not going to do it. So, in fact, I don't think they would have authority to do it, because they don't have funding to have the license to have the badge, right? So if there's no funding to provide someone to verify that they have a badge, it means they cannot have a badge and they cannot have a gun via the city, something like that. So defunding, I think, is de facto a disbandment. But we can check up on that. Yeah. Pay as you go. Yeah. Well, it can happen like that, definitely. Oddly enough, I'm in a country where the government does not pay 100% of the salary of police. And I thought when I came here it was bad, but actually about 7 years ago I got to thinking it's not bad. It's in fact better, because the police are not going to do what the government tells them, which means they won't become tyrants. Now they may get out of line in this way or that, but then there's balances here, and it's certainly a lot better than it was even 7 years ago there. And yeah, occasionally you meet them on the street and you give them some money, but then they go away, and they need the money. Okay, that's that. I pay more than the locals. That's true. But still, as long as it's fair and reasonable, you pay them. But if they're trying to entrap, no. Hey, Stone Reaper. Yeah, my God. Whatever we talked about, my God, what you said and what flowed out of me, that was a mini catharsis, Stone Reaper, I gotta say. And then this happened. I don't know. I think maybe now's a good time to replay that video. I'll play a video here, and it's disturbing.
He is fleeing! Hold the line! Hold the line! He's bleeding out of here! Get him medic! What the f*** you walking up on me? I'm on you down!
Yep.
Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back. Get
Better
back.
get an ambulance
It
for him.
cost the person.
We have a EMT on.
Whoever recorded it. My oh my. Isn't that something? Yeah. Yep. No, this is not a good thing. And they lied about it. You see, as I'm going to sort of repeat it. Okay, the guy pushed him. Okay, maybe he didn't mean for him to fall. Just get the fuck out of the way, old man. But he fell. And then, they walked by. And you can see in the picture I have up there, they're like automatons. They're just walking by like robots. What's cold in their hearts to do that? And then all of them lied. The whole bunch of them lied to say that he tripped. He didn't trip. He was fucking pushed. And he hit his head, and it was serious. And they all lied. The chief of police of Buffalo lied to the people. And it wasn't until the video came out that they had to tell the truth. So it's not just the one cop did something bad. No, they all lied about violence against probably an American. I guess he's an American. And this is meaning that it's a system problem. And then the mayor found out that the chief of police lied to him, and the mayor didn't fire the chief of police right there. Right? And the chief of police didn't fire the guys who did it and everyone who didn't stop and be human about it, And then the governor, Cuomo, comes up and says that it's utterly disgraceful, which it is. But what's really utterly disgraceful is that the governor didn't fire the mayor, who didn't fire the chief of police, who lied to the people of Buffalo and of New York. So Cuomo has no backbone. He must resign from this. It's his responsibility. He has created this ability for the police to lie and lie about violence. And it's not just here in New York. It appears to be in Minneapolis. How many other places? So this is a systemic issue. And where is the disposability of men? Well, we see it all around. It's the man who fell, yes. It's the man who pushed him. Why the fuck would he push an old man? What happened to him? Is he a psychopath? Was he brutalized? What would make him do that to another American who's just standing there saying, hey, what are you men doing? Go home. For the love of God, these men should just stop and go home. They are doing worse than anything they think that they're doing right. There is no value whatsoever to anyone in America to have tyrants beat up old men on the street and lie about it. They are doing worse than anything else. They should just go home. Take off the gear and go home and be men. That's it. The violence is coming from these people. And in order to try to stop it, they are more violent. This is spinning out of control. And Cuomo has no backbone. He won't resign. He's a coward. These police who stood there and allowed a lie to be said in their name, they are also cowards. My God, how many cowards are in America? How many men have been disposed of and cannot look themselves in the mirror? This is the job you wanted? Okay, then don't be a coward. If this is the only job you can find, maybe you should be a farmer. Just fuck it and go out and be a farmer. Live a good life. Live an honorable life. Yeah, okay, you don't get the perks, whatever that is. Psychiatric pills, is that what's keeping these men in this uniform? The guy who looked like he wanted to bend down and help, you see him stand up, he looked sort of vacant, Just saying. And the last time I sort of looked at his face, it's like, I think he's on pills, right? How many of these guys are on pills to do this? Is that what they're doing? We were talking about AI. Yeah, sorry, Wookie. It was for the new people who came in. I just saw it once before I went up, so I've seen it 3 times now. I couldn't watch it a second time after watching it the first time, to tell you the truth. I could not watch it. I didn't know what I was going to see the first time, and by the after I saw it, I said I'm not watching this again. I couldn't watch it. I seriously, no. There's everything wrong with it. And if it was just an accident, okay, it was pushed, he fell, okay, that's one thing. No, they walked by as cold as ice. They lied about it. And everyone lied about it up and down, and nobody took accountability. Nobody made the decision. Nobody made the decision that a man should make. I don't know what Truman would do, but at some point he had a sign saying the buck stops here. Well, Cuomo, the buck stops there. If it doesn't stop with the mayor, if you won't fire the mayor, then the buck stops with you. Right? Because you got the authority to fire the mayor. You can declare a state of emergency in the city and take over the city government. And the mayor can fire the chief of police who lied, right? But the mayor didn't do that, so the mayor is corrupt. So, we're just looking at it all on speed. Yeah, what is it? It's something to make to make the brain cold, to make the heart cold. I don't know. What is it? It's something to dispose of men by, How many men are they destroying? God damn it. You think about it, you think, that man is me, right? You know that, right? That man is me in a different life. And what the fuck did they put into his fucking drink to make him do that? So, how many things? You guys are fun. You guys are fun. Yeah. I don't know. There's nowhere to move to, Bear. There's nowhere to move to. If you guys fail in America, right? Well, that's it. And I don't know of what good we're doing here. I don't advise men to go out and put themselves in jeopardy for no value. You want to climb Mount Everest? Okay, that's your biz. You're getting value from the danger. Okay. This old guy, maybe, he knew there was some danger, but, maybe, it's going to be worth it for him. I don't know. Maybe this is his Mount Everest. As I said earlier, maybe, he missed World War II. Maybe he thinks there's a battle here, a battle for America. All enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, we see the domestic enemies. It's Cuomo, the coward, because he won't fire the mayor. The coward who won't fire the chief of police. The coward. He should just resign, right? He should resign and take everyone who was there with him, right? And just to say, this is not going to happen in this police department. There might be accidents, but there's not going to be lies about them. It's the systemic breakdown. That's the problem, not the push. Accidents happen. Yeah. I don't know, Elihu, and I'm upset about that. I've advised, if you think you're being censored, and maybe we are, I was having great trouble for the first time ever, to tell you the truth, in this way with putting up the stream. It was saying I was having great trouble putting it up, not enough streaming, then no data, and now it's excellent condition, so I'm going out. But I don't think they like my title. I don't think they like the content. I don't think they like it at all. And I don't know what they're going to do about it. But while I'm here, I'm going to say what I think. And I'm for the men. I'm for men. I'm not for the psychopaths, because they're psychopaths. But everyone else, if you're on psychiatric pills and they're making you do that, no, just stay home. Just take some mental health months or years or something like that, right? So anyway, Elihu. I thought of like putting in numbers like that. You should see 1, 2, 3, right? 1, I will say something. 2, fuck off. 3, test over. And so if you want to just test it out, you just do that real quick, and so we can get to see it. If not, I recommend going to this website, which is upsidedowntext.com. Put in what you want to say. It'll flip it, and then you just copy what's flipped there, and whoops, jeez, I can't see. This is the trouble. I multitasking in linguistic tasks, man. I can't do it. So you can do that too, and or you can use a code like me. Tells the way. I like that. I like that a way. I like that a lot, actually. I'm liking it more and more. The few seconds it's running around in my brain now. Yeah, the way. And the way is not to become a disposable man, not to do things that damage you in this way. I feel badly for the man who walked by because, okay, they're going to have to live with what this is. They're going to have to live with their cowardice of lying to everyone, to themselves, to their families, to their friends, to the community as a whole. They lied about something they absolutely should not have lied of. It was, according to Cuomo himself, even utterly despicable. So anyway, I have, whoops, I didn't mean to play that. There. So I got this, report. Oddly enough, my God, it's from people I absolutely hate, the Washington Post. Look at that. So they finally suspended the people. This is just very recent news, I guess. And the footage, which was shot, shows okay, there we go. And, Martin, I don't know how to pronounce that. And he was from a group called People United for Sustainable Housing Buffalo. Oh, for fuck's sakes, Jesus, just get people houses. A lovely man. I thought ex-President Carter, that's what he did too. Anyway, it talked about that. And then it talked about Governor Cuomo saying it was wholly unjustified and utterly disgraceful. So he was quoted, here it is, this incident is wholly unjustified and utterly disgraceful. Well, I'm not sure what he means by the incident. Again, the law is not to, if he's not, violent, you don't be violent towards him. And but I think the incident is that they lied, and I don't think he gets it. That it's not the actions of one man who made a mistake. It's the actions of a second man and a third man and a whole bunch of men who covered up for it by lying up to the chief of police, and then the mayor didn't fire them. And now you won't take any action against these fucking people. So we have a system of cowardice and trying to skirt what should be done. Somebody should take an action on this. And, the Mayor Brown said he and Lockwood were deeply disturbed. Oh, fuck off. And here we see a Buffalo police statement initially said that a man was injured when he tripped and fell during a skirmish involving protesters. No, there was none of that. There was none of that. And then they say that language. No, it's not fucking language. It's a lie. See the Washington Post? That language only amplified the No, it's a fucking lie which shows that the system is flawed. The system is broken. From top to bottom, the system is broken. They cannot lie about this. That's what happened in Minnesota. They lied about it. Oh, for God's sakes. And now what do we see? We see a bunch of guys that look like soldiers in a fucking war of RoboCop beating up old men and lying about it. And then nobody gets fired. Nobody gets fired over the lies. Not about the pushing. The pushing's a different matter. but about the lies. And nobody has to take responsibility for putting all those men, it looks like, on psychiatric pills. Sometimes something to get them through the day, you know. It ain't mother's little helper. It's, something a little bit more, satisfying. What the fuck's going on here? Oh, yeah, I'm alone. Yeah. I don't know. Whoops. What's going on? Okay, yeah. You're nuts, man. I love it. Yeah. Okay. I think we got a problem here. Yeah. Gone. There. Sorry, my attention was of course, on something much more important. That some troll in the chat. Holy fuck. Yeah, I don't have a mod in here yet. Anyway, isn't that something? I guess people are out doing good stuff. This is, what time is it? My time. It's approaching 10 o'clock at night, so a little bit early for the East Coast. And some who are awake are working. It's good to do that. Some who are not. Yes. Yeah. Oh, God. We have definitely bigger issues here. We have issues of the sustainability of men within a gynocentric system that has gone completely awry, that is now eating itself. We see the violence of the system eating itself, and nobody seems to be able to get out of it. And there's just more and more violence. And, maybe this is part and parcel. The right doesn't like this. I don't believe they like to see this at all. The left doesn't like to see it. And Black Lives Matter maybe doesn't have anything to say about this man, but men do. Honorable men do. Black men do. All men do have something to say about that. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I would have had the same fucking reaction if he was polka dot. I couldn't care a fucking less. He was an old man. What the fuck are you doing pushing an old man down and walking by like he's a piece of fucking trash? And then lying about it. Oh my God, this is disgusting. Yeah. This is absolutely disgraceful. Utterly disgraceful. And yet, Cuomo won't resign. My God. He fucked his state, really. We can talk about, the pandemic that seemed to be over. I think it's over now because everyone knows it's fake. The whole fucking thing was fake. Except, that there probably is a virus, but it's not making anyone sick. They haven't done the test, which is Cox postulates, to show that there is a cause and effect. There appears to be correlation, and most of that correlation arose out of China initially. So, the thing spreads. Apparently, this virus spreads like wildfire. So, and then everyone fell for it. They aimed a weapon at America and the West, and they fell for it. And then Cuomo and the rest of those Democratic idiots took shotguns, aimed it at their brains, and blew the fuck out of the economies of all those states and the country. A little bit of caution in the beginning, maybe slow things down until you find out. But they never did. They still don't. Nobody's reporting on Cox postulates. One report, and it's really not that good. So, and yet, we still get, people are dying. No, they're fucking well not. And everyone knows it. Well, you have to social distance. No, you fucking well don't. There's nothing fucking going wrong. And we're getting reports from actual microbiologists and virologists and actual medical scientists, and they're being silenced. They're being called, conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearers, when they say there's nothing here. It's not making people sick like anyone's saying. It's just not doing it. They're not going quite as far because they're trying to find Cox postulates. You can't prove a negative. So they're trying to prove it, but they can't prove it. So they're trying to say, well, it's just not happening. There's been no cause and effect proof. So, yeah, that's right. I know, Bear. I know. Yeah. And, we don't get that often. It's sort of fun. You know what I mean? Other people complain about having all this trouble. Well, maybe that's because we're lucky here to have Warrior, normally, and he's kept things on the straight and narrow. We have a whole long block list. Holy shit. and so, yeah, we keep it clean. We like to keep it clean here. This channel is first and last about men. And, I'm concerned about the man being pushed. I'm concerned about the men who have been trained to push that man and walk on by and lie about it. And I'm concerned about the men tomorrow who would not want to walk up and say, no, this is America, you can't do this. And if you do it, you have to treat me with respect because I'm innocent until the fucking judge tells you what you can do to me. And until that point, you got to treat me nice. Well, they didn't. I don't know. Are these fucking people American? I don't know. I'm Canadian. But, as I mentioned before, I got a lot of American relatives. And I know them well, and I know America pretty well. And I used to hang out down in America quite a lot growing up. I hardly knew it was a different place. I knew it was a different country, but it made no difference. Yeah, really. I went back and forth. I flew solo from Canada on a plane into Florida with a library card as ID. Jesus. And everyone thought that was normal in my family. I wouldn't do that today. I wouldn't recommend it. Horrible. It was the end of the great period, I guess. Yeah. We're going to have men with honor come back. And, they don't have to go out and protest. I'm not saying that, but, maybe they should get a job and be honorable. That's it. Maybe if those men walking by had been MGTOW, they just would not have done that. I'm not saying you don't defend the community. Somebody attacks the community. Yeah, it could be of definite value to a man to defend the community. No question. Defend friends? Yeah, definitely. Get yourself injured? Well, maybe the value's there. But, don't be white knighting for somebody you don't know thinking there's some fucking value in it, because there ain't. Yep, exactly. And, I remember watching and not really understanding Nightfly with, who was it, Mickey Rourke or something? Jesus, what a disturbing movie. I understand it much better now. I think I get it now. But, a couple of those scenes were just like, I understood, I didn't understand it, but I said, oh, yeah, it's sick, but. So, yeah. But, you can draw your line in the sand and say, I'm going to defend the community here. But when you see Paul Revere breaking curfew and lying on the ground, America's lost, right? It's lost. It's no longer America. And Cuomo doesn't care that he just allowed America to be killed in the Empire State, in the great state of New York. Historically the largest state, no longer, but historically the largest, with the great city of New York. And now it's this, Now it's this. Horrible. These people can't fucking seem to run it. On a very different topic, I have a question, which would be great to have some answers. in your experience, and I'm going to type it into the chat, so I typed it into the chat. In your experience, are itches contagious? So, yeah, this is, I know it's sort of off the topic, but so if you start to scratch, is that like contagious for another person who then, looking at you, is then motivated to scratch? In your experience. Yeah, if you could answer that, that'd be great. Is it really Stone Reaper? I don't know. Law by decree. Who's making these? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like yawning, Wookie. Like yawning. So, yeah. Yawning's contagious. So, yeah, I think Cuomo's a psychopath. He obviously doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about the right thing to do, obviously, which is either to fire the mayor of Buffalo, who would not fire the chief of police, who lied and would not fire the men who did these things, or immediately act in absolutely the right way. So, yeah, no, Cuomo's a psychopath, or just incompetent, or he's, I don't know. It's not an easy situation. I wouldn't say that it is. But this is New York State. They elected this guy. He's supposed to be smart. Right? Nice one. Yeah. Let out a big one, then look around. And, the funny thing is, you yawn, and you look around, and somebody who was, like, not in your line of sight, they start to yawn. They don't see you. Yeah. Yeah, Bear. Okay. Good one. Yeah. Nice. Thanks for the answer. Oh. Yeah, I'm worried about law by decree too, Stone Reaper, because that's, that's the end here. I said that Cuomo should take the mayor and fire him and take over control of the city because the city can't run itself. That's already in the statutes, I believe. I could be wrong in that, but the township has to have approval of the state to be a township. So, yeah, that's right. Governors, I don't know. Are they doing this? Mayors, no, they have some emergency powers given to them, but not a whole lot of latitude. Although there was that mayor in friggin' Illinois or something, and she wanted to do everything, like ban people from buying guns and shit. Complete wacko tyrant. But yeah, no, there's city councils and there's state legislatures. There's procedures that have to be followed, and executive orders. I always thought executive orders were unconstitutional. I still think they are. In America, there's nothing in the Constitution that talks about an executive order, and I looked into Abraham Lincoln's when he had, suspended habeas corpus and thus allowed the military to arrest everyone. This was a bad thing, and that's why Sic Semper Tyrannis is such a famous call, because he did turn into a tyrant. There's no question. Looking at it, he did not have the authority to do it. He did it anyway. People listened to it and obeyed, and that was a very dark point for America. Yeah. Everyone gets the boogaloo flu. I think it's coming here. Maybe so, Barren Exile. I don't know. But in Canada, I'm pretty sure that if a mayor fucks up badly enough, that the province will step in and take control of the town, and suspend the mayor and the town council or something, city council, whatever. So, but it has to be a fairly serious matter. But what we see on the screen, to me, looks like the death of America. It's like that's not America. You know, the Chinese are probably laughing. Ha ha. You look like China under Mao. Ha ha. In the words of Nelson from The Simpsons. My God, he's annoying. I think I'm annoying when I do that. Ha ha. Looks like fucking China under Mao. Ha ha. Oh my God, stop it. Stop it. Jesus. Anyway. Everyone gets the boogaloo flu. Let the sun shine on all this shit. Yeah, that's it. I'm sick of the sugar coating. Yeah. All of it. All of it. Yeah. It's a shit show, isn't it? This is a shit show. I can't believe I'm up here looking at this particular story. And, you know, we've moved from the pandemic. Who in the hell cares if anyone breathes on anyone at this point? Nobody's fucking concerned. Although the old guy was wearing a mask. Isn't he fucking sweet? Right? You know? Who in the hell cares? You know, if you believe that lie, you know, I'll give you 3 others to believe before breakfast. You know. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, Barren Exile. Again, I don't know. Something is bad, and there's an accountability, hierarchy. Ultimately, with Harry S. Truman, he had the sign on his desk, "The buck stops here." And nothing got, I guess, so bad for him. He had to resign, but maybe, you know, this is called leadership. And when you fail, this is what happens. You have men that push old men down and lie about it. This is called a failure of leadership, Cuomo. Don't you understand? You're the leader. You failed. You failed to act appropriately and in a timely way. Whatever action that was. No, I'm going to disagree, Barren Exile. The Republic is dying, but the Empire will go on. The Empire's not always been centered in a republic. No, the Empire is going to continue. And the capital is going to move. I was in a discussion on this very topic. And we talked about where the capital is going to be moved to, because we figured about a year and a half ago, this is savage reality, and I had a back and forth, and it was a very interesting discussion and motivated me towards a whole new area of research, which was very fruitful. And it looks like the Empire is going to continue. They, whoever the they is, the Empire itself wants to continue, so it's going to continue. But the capital, I traced the capital. I put the the map up. You know, it was Eridu, went to Thebes, and then to Susa, and then it went to Athens, and then Rome, and then it went to a little bit of an interregnum. Went to Baghdad, then to Samarkand, then to Budapest, then to, Prague, and then Madrid, Vienna, Paris, London, and then Washington. So, and now Washington has had its time, as, it's got the obelisk, right? Yeah, they always have the obelisk. They got to have the obelisk. And it's going to move to another city, so you look for the new city with an obelisk, and you got a good chance of picking the next capital. And I agree, Bear. The Chinese have never been part of the empire, although the Mongols came through and did a pretty good job of destroying it. Moved the capital from Samarkand to Budapest. Okay, but really, they're on the periphery. But they've never had good government, ever, ever, ever. You read their history; it's a history of bad government. Yeah. VA. Oh, yeah, VA. Yeah. Again, for anyone just dropping in, if If you see some upside down text and you're having trouble getting it, which is sometimes happen, you just go to upsidedowntext.com, put it in upside down, and what you read is right side up. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, the whole itch thing. If you look up the itch thing, they're trying to say that it may be contagious. But in my experience, like Bear, I've never heard that, ever, from anyone. No one I know has ever said that. Yawning? Oh, yeah. Hunger? Sure. You know, and that's about it. But itching? No. Somebody scratches. If you don't have an itch, you don't scratch, and there's no way it's contagious. I've never heard of that. Never. And so what we have is things, people are trying to say that it's true, but it's not true. But they're publishing a paper on it, so they're getting something, and they're just changing the world to be basically everything. And the same thing with suffrage. Suffrage meant, when the word came out and in its use up until, I don't know, I'm even going to look it up, but it's always meant the right to vote. Not that you suffer, like in pain or anything like that, but it's always been the right to vote, suffrage. And so you look up the word suffrage, S-U-F-F-R-A-G-E. You look it up, and the first meaning here is, right to vote in political elections. And that's it. So it's not anything to do with pain or anything like that. And it has a Latin meaning, a series of intercessory prayers or petitions. So that's what it meant. And it came to mean the right to vote in the late 18th century. So that's the late 1700s. However, we're now seeing people want to make that pain and suffering. And so you're beginning to see that. So they want to change the meaning of the word. And so yeah. So this is what's happening. They want to change that itching is not contagious to it's contagious. They want to change suffrage to mean also pain. And they want to change phobia to be a dislike as opposed to an irrational fear of. And so they want to change these things, and they're changing it so quickly that you can't keep up with it. I mean, give me a break. Not that I don't want things to change. Sure, things can change. Yeah, maybe Bad Max. Maybe. He's a weak mind. Yeah. Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see itch as being contagious. Like, I'm not itchy, and I've never seen it. Oh, anyway, so but I think everyone's trying to make everything. This is a gynocentric thing. Everyone has to be involved in the group. So everything has to be contagious. If yawns are contagious, scratches are contagious. Blinking your eyes is contagious. However, I will say one thing. Another one is stuttering is contagious. In the strangest of ways, stuttering is contagious. And there may be men out here in the chat who haven't come on who are stutterers, and that's fine, but it's contagious. So, I had a friend growing up, and he was a pretty heavy stutterer. I gotta say, some are pretty light. And some actually, they get over and they go into politics and they're talkers, but a bit of a stutter. And, they get by, and people like to listen to them. And this is maybe how they talk, or something like that, But, this guy had a pretty serious stutter. And, I found that, like, after about 20 minutes or half an hour, I would start to, stutter like him, and then I would catch myself and try to stop. It was a little tricky at times. So I think stuttering is somewhat, it's not contagious, but it's mimicry or something like that. Crazy. But unusually, or maybe not, way back when, and this was like, I was 14 or something like that. He had like a ham radio set or something like that, pretty nice. And when he was on the ham radio, he didn't stutter. So, that was it. So whatever triggered it in him, and I'm still not sure on it, with anyone, but whatever triggered it, it didn't come out when he was in front of a microphone, alone in a room, talking on the radio. So if you are a stutterer, it might be an idea to just give it a try. Go and do a broadcast on YouTube. Talk about stuff you want to talk about. And you mess it up a bit, and you rant a bit, and you roll a bit, like the true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roll like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roll from decks down below. And that song, echoes in my mind. So I sing it. And you can do that when you're on the broadcast. So if you're stuttering, try it. Why not? And that reminds me, I haven't invited anyone up. I do have my Google Hangouts up, but not open. And if anyone wants to jump in, please send me an email and put in the chat that you sent me an email, and I'll check it, and then bring you in, and we can have a discussion. And don't worry if you're not used to it. We've had a lot of people on. It's turned out great. But I thought I'd come up and rant a bit, because I can't believe this. I just can't believe it. And I see more lying. It's the lying. It's not the violence. The violence is not good, but it's the lying. It's the lack of good systems. And ultimately, the system is what the system is. And if you got bad people in a well-designed system, it'll still be bad. So we have dishonorable men. The system should be you tell the truth, right? You tell the truth, right? You may put a positive spin on it, but you don't lie. Yes, we pushed him. He fell and he bled from his ear. And then and the police officers around him acted with compassion and got him very quickly to medical treatment. There. It would have been over. But now it's not. Now it's all over the news. Now we have utterly disgraceful as an adjective that can be applied to Buffalo, New York. And ultimately the governor of New York, because he seems to not provide good leadership. That people are, they just don't give a shit about lying to him, ultimately. Right? Because they lied to him, and they lied to everyone, but they lied to him, so they're not afraid of Cuomo. So he's a little fucking sap. He's a little sappy girl, little silly girl, sappy girl. Nobody's afraid to lie to his fucking face. Yeah, you come up here, Cuomo, I'll fucking lie to your face, because you're a fucking wimp. You got nothing. You got all these fucking troops. They beat up old man and lie to you about it. You're a wimp. Fucking nobody lies to me about that, right? No, people lie to you. You and your brother Fredo, right? Oh my. Was that a sore spot? No, it's a fucking movie. Oh my God. The sins of the father shall not be visited upon the son, neither shall the sins of the brother be visited upon the other brother, So, Oh, for God's sakes. How much do I owe you, Bad Max? For God's sakes, I can't believe it. Yeah. Yeah. It was bad. Holy shit. I think you got the point right there, Wookie. Yeah. But I gotta say that it was the Libyans that did real bad damage to the Egyptians. I think the Libyans owe the Egyptians some fucking money. I remember hearing about, they would go en masse across the desert and attack some of those, great oases, which had, shrines from the Nephilim. Oh man, Libyans did great destruction in Egypt. Yeah, horrible. Oh yeah, do I have a link to the video? Ooh. Yeah, let me see if I can get it here. Yeah, let me see if I can get it. Yeah, I think I can get it here. Yeah, got it. Seems to still be up and everything, so I'll put it up. No problemo. There we go. That was pretty fast. I found it in like a report, and then I went to the report and then found the link and then went directly to the YouTube channel. Where is it? It's on Reuters, so I got it from Reuters. And I don't like Reuters either. But they can't do much to a video, or can they? I don't know. It's just a video. Now everyone says it's true. I got no idea, right? I wasn't there. But, the police say it's true. The people who took it say it's true. The governor says it's true. Okay. The people who would deny its truth are saying it's true. And the people who want it to be true say it's true. And I don't know. So maybe somebody recognized the old guy and says, no, man. He wasn't pushed down. He was drinking with me. I don't know. So, yeah, okay, Bad Max. We agreed to give you the money as long as the Libyans give the Egyptians money. I ain't giving you a cent until that happens. And the Mongols, they got to give money to the friggin' Persians. No friggin' way am I going to do it. And then the people of Mali have to give, money to the people from Senegal. Some of those tribes there in Mali that were pretty aggressive. They had a little empire there. So, they got to give some money. Oh, and yeah. I don't want to really bring it up, but, there's an island called Kinte Island in the Gambia. You can look it up. And that's where the tribes around Gambia took the people they captured to be sold to slaves, and they got money. So the people of Gambia, if the American, blacks want money, they got to get some money from those people in Gambia who made money on that. But, holy shit, Wookie. You're going to get this channel taken down. Is it okay to use small Filipino girls as COVID masks? I think that question's reasonable. Yeah. Small, but not underage. Yes, just to clarify. Excellent. Yes, that's right. Well, most Filipino girls are, smaller. It's just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah, sorry, Bear. I played it so many times, Wookie revolted and didn't want to see it again. But he was just voicing what I said myself. I was sickened. No, that's right. Sickened. I couldn't watch it again. I had to calm down after watching it. As I did watching the video of that Minnesota thing. When I got that little snippet of that video, my God, and to see him down there for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. My God. No, it's not the action. Well, in Minnesota, it's more so the action, but it's the lying about it. You see, it's systemic. It's not a bad cop. It's not a bad cop with a partner who's going to support him or something. Okay. No, it's a whole bunch of cops lying to the chief of police. The chief of police lies. The mayor lies, and then they find out the truth, and they all try to point fingers at God in the sky or something, and none of them will have the decency and honor to resign. And now we get the same thing, rinse and repeat in New York State. And nobody's willing to stand up and say, I failed in leadership. No one's willing to say that, When the fuck's wrong with these people? Not everyone can be a great leader or even a good leader. And sometimes even good leaders, they fall on their sword because that's the right thing to do. And no one's doing it. No one's leading the way. No one's leading the way. And if they have to defund or disband or one or the other or both, these police departments, just to get them out of the way, because no one there seems to have the honor and decency to resign. Nothing is worse than watching your government, armed to the teeth, throw old people to the ground, hurt them badly, and lie about it until they can't get away with it, and then not do anything. And this is the worst of all possible worlds, right? There's the boot, kick in the face forever. They kick it and they lie about it, and once in a while they get caught and nothing happens. They kick it, they lie about it, they don't get caught. They kick it, they lie about it, they don't get caught. They kick it, they don't get caught. How many times they get caught? Well, we don't know. So they seem to be immune from decency, immune from accountability, immune from honor. What have they done to these men? See, this is the disposability of men. Either that, or they just pick psychopaths, or they dispose of men by pumping them filled with psychiatric pills. But none of this is good. None of this is good. It's happening here. It's probably happening in Canada. It's probably happening in Norway and Holland. How many of those people are on psychiatric pills? Maybe a majority of the police over there and everywhere are insane. They're clinically insane. Walking around pushing people, lying about it because they take the happy pills and they think they can do it. Yeah, I took a happy pill. I fucking lie. I got no fucking problem lying. I'll feel fine. Holy shit. What the hell's this? Huh. There. Yeah. Oh my God. I just got a email image which is pretty fucking funny, Let me just write something. Yeah. My God. No, there's this word, and Aggie was on about it again. We had a great discussion about appropriation, and I have a much better understanding of it now. And well, we're concerned about men, doing dangerous things. We're not advising. I'm not advising men go to these protests and do this sort of thing. I'm not advising that. This is not your fight, unless it is your fight. But men thinking that it's safe and they can drift away with MGTOW and think they're carrying it with them, and think that in the shit hits the fan era that women are going to be back to the way they were or something. All this sort of stupidity. No, the laws are still the laws. So there's no way that you should be thinking about, white picket fences now. No, it's not happening. The laws are still the laws, and they will take you down. Look, they don't care. They don't care. They just don't. What more information do you need? They don't care about any men. They don't care about the men they brutalize to brutalize other men. Leave them lying on the street, blood pouring out of their ear. No, none of this is good for men. And if it's 1984, if it's USSA, then let me write something here. Let me do this and. Let me see if I can. I don't know. Rats. I'm trying to do. Huh. Whoops. Let me try that again. And, oh, I'm sort of screwing around on something, so I'm a little distracted. And, damn it. Huh. Man, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do it. Rats. Oh yeah, maybe I'll try something else here. Okay, sorry about the. Okay. No. Whoops. No, I can't do it. I can't seem to figure out how to work this friggin' Google stuff after all this time. I find Google frustrating. Trying to deal with this. And, yeah, I'm trying to, I don't know. Yeah. I can't seem to, okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait for a second. Hey, it's Produce Power. Sorry about that. I was a little distracted. Produce Power. Just the guy. I need to invite someone into Google Hangouts. I can invite you. And maybe you can come in and tell me what in the hell to do. And yeah. Whoops. There. I just sent you an invite. But I can't seem to send Trav one. Anyway, you can drop in if you like. I'm talking about whoops. Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can fix this in the Hangouts here. Yeah, okay. It should come through if anyone comes in. Anyway, sorry about the confusion here. And maybe somebody can help me figure out how to invite people into Google Hangouts. If I don't have your contact or something, and I don't know how to turn people into contacts, so I don't know. Yeah. And there's Trav there. Hello, Trav. We're in trouble. I don't know. We're in trouble. Let me answer this call. Hello? Is anyone there? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think anything's happening here.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, what?
I will send you an invite, is what I'm saying here. And then I'm going to get out of this call because I can't hear anything. Oh, hold on. Maybe I can. Let me turn on my headphones.
Hello.
Powering on. Mic on.
Yeah, I got you now.
Hello.
Yeah, I got you now, but I don't think you're coming through the stream. So.
Yes, no, I actually am. I was just listening to myself talking while you ignored me, and I was a bit confused because I had all these audio cues just tripping me out.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Can you hear me, chat? Chat, tell us, chat. You can hear us, chat. Come on.
Come on. Can you hear PJP there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, I'm not using StreamYard, Trav, and I'm on with PJP. PJP, can you invite Trav in?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Talk about outsourcing your technological skills, bro. Jeez.
I'm having trouble inviting him. I can't invite him. He's not on my list. He's not like a contact. I don't know how to make him a contact.
There's Trav. I can start video call? Trav?
Yeah, just go up to the invite. Up to the plus person and invite him in.
Yeah. I could do that.
Yep, there you go. And I think we're going through. Are we going through the chat? Can you hear PJP? Yeah. Trav says, yep. Good. So.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Little plus man. Let's go, Trav.
Man. Yeah.
Oh, that's an email link. You got an email, Trav? What's your email? You can do that. You got that screen up.
Yeah.
Shit.
I know, but I don't have his email, so I can't do it.
Oh, fuck.
Trav, I don't have your email, so I cannot invite you.
Oh.
If you want to send me your email address, that would be great. And then I can invite you. I got to make you a contact, and it won't let me do it without your email. I don't know why.
Like, I can call him. I tried calling him a second ago, but then it wants to start up a separate call.
Yeah, okay.
With Trav, so.
Let's get out and I'll call him. And then you can jump in. I'll invite you in.
Yeah, you got my email, haven't you?
Yeah, I can invite you in. Okay, Trav,
okay,
I'll call you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool, Pete. trying to call Trav here and get BJP in. I think Trav's here. Hey, how you doing, Trav?
Hey, how you guys doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. We'll check with the people in the chat, find out how it's coming through. Can everyone hear Trav? And,
Okay. I didn't know you could do this on Hangouts.
Well, I've been experimenting and having some trouble doing it, but
Hello.
Yeah, it used to be easy to do this. Now they made it hard.
Yes, that's right. So, hey, PJ,
Thanks.
in. Yep. Here we are. We're all
How we doing, guys? How you doing, Trav? Haven't heard from you in a long time, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I've been just taking a break, enjoying the spring and the summer. It's just like beautiful, and I that's all I've been doing, and reading, a lot of reading.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, beautiful this time of year where you are. Beautiful.
Oh yeah. I got socialized out. I was just like so like inundated with social media that I think my brain popped.
Yeah. Yep. It's like anything in life. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. So.
Oh yeah, there was. So I needed to take a break, and you hear that from a lot of MGTOWs once in a while. You just needed to take a break. I just needed to stop for a second.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's crazy out there. This is a good time to take a break. Men got to protect themselves from the insanity.
Right. Yeah. Even in my small town, the madness has come to my small town, and it's just like it's everywhere now, and it's quite crazy, and people have crazy ideas, and that's you don't want to get involved with that, or most of the time it's just like they'll drag you into that, and then it's like it's like every other cult or absurdity in life. They'll drag you into that craziness.
Yes. Do not become a codependent in the insanity.
Yeah, and this is a good time to proselyte people too, isn't it? People are generally isolated; they're at home. You can target people, proselyte them, get them into that weird kind of thinking, and it's whatever that is, whatever your particular brand of crazy is.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that now with the Christianity groups, trying to proselyte, and the conspiracy theory groups trying to proselyte, and everybody wants to pick up membership during this time of trouble.
Yeah, everyone's weak and vulnerable. Everyone's confused. Everyone wants answers, and this is a window of opportunity for people who want to, plant seeds into people's minds to co-opt their way of thinking. So, I totally agree with that. It's a very strange time we live in, and there's some people that are very vulnerable right now. So, you have to watch it play out. That's a funny thing. Like, what do you and I do? What do we just sit back and?
Well, yeah, we sit back on the MGTOW bench and just sit back, have some popcorn, and just smile and point and laugh.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes. Yeah. No, that's right. Things are moving fast. One week it's pandemic, the next week it's purge. God only knows what it'll be next week, and that'll be next day.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm so glad I'm not what I used to be in the military contractors, because I'd be out there right now fighting against protesters and having people spit on me and throw things at me, because I used to do crowd control.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, they're not looking good.
Crowd control. Jeez. In this day and age, crowd control would be, it's a death sentence, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a death sentence inside. I looked at one of the guy's eyes, and they looked like he was on the psychiatric pills just to keep him, going.
Yeah, they forget that these guys are men too, and they're sympathetic towards the protesters. They don't really. None of those guys out there really want to do it. It's their job, and they're ordered, because most of these guys are either police or military, and they're ordered to do this, and they're ordered to go out there, and they're ordered to remove the protesters, and they're trying to be nice about it, and they're trying to do their job, plus employ a little empathy for the people. And it's really, really heart-wrenching for these guys. And we must understand that, too. That's what, being empathetic, being able to be aware of other people's situations. And we talked about that a lot in MGTOW a few years ago. And that's, people forget that. And that's when we see these crazy normies just doing what they're doing. And they're not empathetic towards the other party, and they expect empathy back.
Yeah. No, it's a tough situation, and you see in some cases where you see the empathy, and I don't know whether you're aware, but I played this video that's now making the rounds, but it's a complete lack of empathy. And,
towards it's
that old guy in Buffalo, right? The old guy was pushed down. They all just walked off, and then they lied about it. See, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, I seen. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of horrible incidents of just.
Yeah. It's not the incident, and it's the lying about it after, and it's
right.
What this is doing to the men who are up there being told to do this, and they're being told they can't have empathy. We saw that.
Right. Yeah, you have to remove that from yourself, and
you can't, because that means that you're killing yourself. Slowly.
Right.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem, because empathy becomes something that becomes an expectation of the sociopath to be able to manipulate that, to use that as a weapon against other people. So that's the problem, where empathy sort of becomes something that becomes a weakness or perceived weakness. So people have an aversion to it.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to use that empathy weapon, one way or the other.
Yeah, I had 2 jobs in life where I had that kind of situation where I'm cognitively split about what I'm doing. And one was the military contractors, and the second one was I used to have to do evictions. And it's a pretty good example of this. I have to go in there and I have to remove these people's furniture from an apartment. And there was this one incident where the whole apartment building came out. They were throwing things at us, and they were spitting on us, and they were yelling just rude things to us and everything. And I just looked up and I said, my God, this is just my job. I'm not the person doing this. And it was just that was the last one I ever did. It was just heart-wrenching. And this world, you shouldn't have to do things like that, but in the world we have to do things like that.
Well, sometimes yes, and then sometimes
sometimes no. Yeah.
The eviction itself is unjust. If it's a just eviction, then okay, but some of them are not.
Yeah.
And
some of them are not. No.
That comes back to what Trav was saying before, is sometimes you're in a position where you kind of have to do what you have to do. You have to follow orders. You have to do what is asked of you, regardless of your own personal position on the situation. And that puts you in a very difficult situation where you have to do something that people aren't going to like, and it mightn't be in their best interest, but you're in a position where you have to do what you have to do. So it's sad. And yeah.
Well, I'm thinking following orders is one thing, but if you're doing a job like that, it would be best to know that the system, say, to evict someone, that the system was sure and these people deserve to be evicted in order to maintain the solidity of the whole system or something.
That's the assumption.
That's the assumption.
That's the assumption, yeah.
But if they won't let you, they don't pay you enough money to research it so that you know that you're doing the right thing, you know the data, you know the procedure, and you've read the judge's decision and the opposition to that, then I've got someone calling me here, but I'm going to decline. I don't know who it is, so I have blank is calling you.
Blank. There
was no name, so I'm not going to do it. If you want to jump in, that's great. Just tell me you send me an email, and we'll send you an invite. You can jump into this conversation. So
MGTOWvalues@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. Jeez, I forgot for a second. Seriously, I started to write G. There. Multitasking and linguistic task is not my strong point.
Because it did something funny to the Hangout, because now I only see my icon now and I don't see you or Trav. So I don't know. It did something funny when that call came in.
Yes, I don't see Trav either. Trav, are you still here? Trav's gone.
That's a negatory.
Oh, man. Man, he's gone. That did a weird thing, and I'm wondering why it did it to me. And,
We're not going to be able to get him back.
No, I got it. I may be able to get him back. I'm going to try right now.
I'm keen to have a chat with Trav. I haven't seen any of his videos in a while. Haven't had a chat with him. Haven't listened to what he's had to say in a while.
He hasn't put anything up in a while. He says.
I don't hold it against him or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's just it's good to see that he's still floating about and everything's going well for him. Well, well enough that he's in a position where he's able to be on here right now and talk to us. And
yeah, no, that's right. No, he's
yeah,
doing great. Anyway, Trav, I just sent you a. Holy shit! I'm in a video call. Under I don't know. It seems to have messed up seriously. I sent Trav an invite that he hasn't responded to. Maybe let me check the stream.
you should.
The wrong thing to do. What do you want me to do, Trav? I invited you. Maybe I'll get out of this call again and call you directly and invite PJP back in. How does that sound, PJP?
It sounds fine to me, bro. Fine to me. I'm fortunate to be able to be here tonight because I wasn't expecting to be up this late. It's about 2:00 in the morning for me, so it is. So I'll go with the flow, bro. I'll go with the flow.
Okay then. I'll try to end this call and call you back in a sec. Bye.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to get things taken care of here, and we'll try to do a direct call to Traversable and call them right now, and then invite PJP in when we get connected. Hey, and I think you're back.
That was weird.
Yes, it was. Whatever it was.
I tried to click on, you got the green screen. I tried to click on one of them to get in so I could see what I was looking like and everything and talking like and my mannerism. And, it just went off.
Yeah, well, maybe it was you who tried to call me or something. PJP's back in here.
Okay, and then I tried to call you after that, and then it was like I couldn't get back in.
Yeah. No, I didn't know it was you. It didn't tell me it was you. Anyway, just for your information, your video is not being transported through the OBS. So
okay.
Your video ends here. I can see you, and I think Prune Juice can see you.
Yeah, I can see your beautiful beard, bro. You're doing well growing it back.
I actually just woke up, so I'm a little disheveled, and I was like,
"You're looking great, man. You're looking great." Yeah.
Okay, man, that was So at least I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this on Hangouts, but
it's a little bit tricky, to tell you the truth. It's a little tricky. Anyway, I have a question here from Barren Exile.
Okay.
Are you using the old Hangout system or the new one? I'm not aware of a new one.
Yes, there is a new Hangout system, and I was going to download that app, and I probably should be using the new one, but this is the old, because we have so many people over the years built up on the old one, and I don't know if the new app transfers to the old app.
Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, I have like 100 contacts in this app.
Right, yeah. So I guess Barren Exile, the answer is we're using the old Hangout system.
The old Hangout, yeah. I should just download the new one and see what happens.
Yeah, but yeah.
I was just going to say, MV, you're probably using OBS. You can actually do screen capture if you wanted to get Trav's beautiful face up on the screen.
I tried to do it a couple of times, and I got really messed up. So maybe I'll try again, but I couldn't do it.
No, Sorry. Don't. We're on a good thing. We're on a good thing.
Yeah, we're on a good thing, so I don't feel like pushing it at the moment. Yeah.
I used to do that all the time. I'm so pretty, God. That was a take on Buffalo Bob.
Okay.
With J, silent J. He's like, I do me. I would do me.
Yeah, do me. No problem.
Oh.
In fact, I got a beard too, and it's getting pretty long now. I got to say, it's been how many months now? 2 months in lockdown.
2 months.
So,
Yeah.
So.
My buddy came over. He's never had a beard in his life, and he came over like last 2 days, probably 3 days ago. And I've never seen him with a beard, and he has a social distancing beard now. It's like, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. He has a huge beard now. I was like,
Wow.
That's pretty impressive that you could grow that in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Funny the things that it does. Our whole social construct is like changed now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's definitely changed. The dynamic between people, the way that we interact, and the way we do business, and the way we connect and emotionally connect and physically connect. It's bizarre, and this is what they call the new normal. The new normal is going to be around for a long time. Yeah, it's going to be around for a long time.
I mean, I have friends that I haven't even got like within 20 yards of, because that's how paranoid they are now. And they're just older friends too. They're just worried. They're old. They're worried about dying if they get this thing. And then I have young friends that come around up to 20, 25 years old, and they ain't worried at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll live forever. I mean, that's probably the better approach to take, to be honest with you, in this situation, is to sort of realise your own sort of humanity, your own existence, and just acknowledge the fact that if bad things are going to happen, they're going to happen, and you have to live your life. But at the same time, you don't want to be too naive. You don't want to be too sort of cocky and about it all. But so I really don't know where to stand on the whole thing, but my gut instinct tells me just live your life, do what you have to do, and don't let it hold you back. Don't let it inhibit your existence. It is a very bizarre thing to behold, isn't it? The different degrees in which people sort of are afraid of other humans.
Yeah. I think Camus had a great take on that in the fall. He says, "What is the meaning of life?" And then the other person that he was kind of talking to from the third person at that point, which was kind of weird. And then he goes, "I don't know." And he goes, "Life. The meaning of life is life. Live it to the fullest."
Yep. That's
Yes.
It's simple.
Yep.
Yeah, of course, there's a lot more that goes to it after that. The philosophers, they could take like like Kierkegaard did, and take it into a whole book. Just a simple statement.
Yeah, it kind of depends who you're really dealing with as to how deep you want to sort of go down that rabbit hole to expand on it. Yeah. What is life? I don't know. Live it, but
live it. Life is life. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what Marcus would say too. What is life? Well, life is life. Live it.
Yep.
I mean, if you went down a Socratic, if Socratically you did that, that's probably what it would come out to too. What is life? Life is life. Live it.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple. It's simple. And I'm definitely on the side that life is more than the words we use to describe it.
Oh, most certainly. Yeah, we don't have words for everything. And the meaning of life. We talked about incommensurability before, and how you interpret things is very much different than how I interpret things, and Prune Juice interprets things different. That's because we all use even for the word "on," there's 16 different meanings.
At least, definitely. So
I mean, depending on how you use it, and I always used the thing "war on drugs" when we had the war on drugs, and I was involved in that.
What did drugs ever do? Why did we go to war with
Yeah,
the
what do we
drugs?
do? Yeah, we don't have to fight them. Or are you on drugs? There's 16 different meanings to that. And I was thinking, oh, Congress is just being a bunch of bitches, and they took another meeting, and they're sending it out this message, and they're really saying this message.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a rhetorical wordplay.
Yeah, the ruse of morality. They're hiding behind this shield to make it out to seem to be something more than really what their intent is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Is basically just a platitude for we need to do something about this. But
did you smoke a joint? Kick his door in. Kick his door in.
Kick his door in. Yeah. Oh my God, pot too lately. This whole social distancing thing, like I've never seen so much pot on the streets. There's so much dope. It's like everybody has dope.
These poor buggers are going to go back to work and get drug tested, but anyway, at least they're having fun.
Oh yeah, I went and got some wings. The bar finally opened up around the corner that has wings, the best wings in town too, and this old lady come up, and I was going to jump this curb on my bike. I was just going to do it, and she says, "You should not do that." And I started thinking about it, like it was a pretty big drop, and I was like, "Yeah, I should probably not do that, but I want to." And then she pulls out her cigarette pack, and she has these blunts pre-rolled in these papers that looked like twice the size of a cigarette, and she goes, "Try one of these." It was this old lady. She was like at least 70.
Yeah, nice.
She's a good business person. She sold you on that straight away.
I was like, no thanks, I don't smoke that stuff. But lately it's like everybody I know like has pot, and it's like you guys. It's like this. It's like the government intentionally flooded. You have to think about this because I know how these things work. You have to think about how these things work. The government intentionally flooded the culture with pot to bring them down or give them something to do.
Right.
That's the only.
Oh yeah. It was always an escapism from the fact that they didn't have anything to do, or they gave them an excuse to feel like they didn't have to be motivated or to commit themselves to do things. So it became like an emotional or psychological sink for people's motivation and drive. It funneled all that into that, and I mean I think. I don't want to promote anything, but I think it has its place at certain times in people's lives, or in the way things are going in the country or in the world. But it definitely is something that has pros and cons, and have to be very, very wary of those sorts of things as well.
Now, as a Canadian, I suppose I can speak freely on this subject and say that if there are pros and cons, the pros are massive and the cons are, well, I can't find one. And
well, the cons, I will surmise it like this, and let's say that the cons are that those times where you have nothing to do and you feel like you need to occupy yourself and use that as something to occupy your mind to stimulate you, there are other things you could pour yourself into.
Right. It's sort of like MGTOW too. There's hobbies and crafts and working on a business and doing all sorts of other things that you would have done with the other addiction that we have.
Yes.
the female addiction. There's other things that you can do. You can apply the same thing to this now. There's other things you could do, but most of the world doesn't realize, because they've never looked outside of the box, that there are other things to do. And a lot of people are going to the parks and stuff like that. I've noticed a huge uptake in that. Which I've always done since, I became MGTOW. One of the first really, really positive things I did for my life is like start including the park systems into my my existence. You just go looking around, seeing the world I live in, a little naturalism, a little, observation. I go down there and do observation and those things. And most people had no idea. And when I first started going, I realized that 90% of the society has no idea that there's this beautiful thing down here.
Well, they either don't know, or they're too preoccupied with other things. Like they feel so overwhelmed by their own existence, and they lose sight of these little things that are so important.
Right. Yeah.
They really do.
And those things, the female contacts, and even to the point like the link between that addiction and drugs and those things. You can take all those. Yeah, if you want to live a fuller, better life without having to do those things, there's other things. There's a lot of other things, like me and my bike projects. I'm building another one, by the way. I got a really cool one.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, so that's been my project the last few months. I took apart the one. I gave my other bike away to my son. He deserved it. He did some really good stuff. So I said, here's an electric bike for you, and that stuff. And then I started working on this other one, and it's a project. It's like I don't like these gears. I'm gonna put new gears on, and I don't like this chain. I'm gonna put a really fucking nice chain on there and stuff like that. And I did. I put a nickel chain on. It was nickel and black, so it got bling to it now. It's those little details, It's about little details when you do these projects in your life that are so fulfilling. When you look at it, it's a piece of art now. It reflects you and that individuality that we talk about.
Yeah.
And that could be done with any project. If you're a woodworker, if you're a bike builder, if you're a car mechanic, if you're anything, that's the things we talk about. Fill them voids in our lives that we used to have addictions to.
Yeah, it's really, it's like you say, the introspection, but it also comes down to sort of, a sort of situational awareness, and that you're sort of aware of things in a grander sense, and that you can sort of sit back and analyze things and understand that there's sort of deficiencies or things that can be improved or things that can be tweaked, and just sort of put the effort and time in to improve. Really?
Improve, yeah. That could be on yourself. It can be on your house. It could be on a project. You can apply that kind of logic to almost anything. I mean, I sat and I built the tire. I laced my own spokes and everything. I used an offset rim, a carbon graphite offset rim. It's got the beautiful logos like I wanted on it and everything. And I got the laces within 1/8 of each other. So it's perfectly uniform all the way around. And my buddy picked it up and he goes, "Joe, that's a freaking piece of art." You just did. And I was like, I'm getting so good at it now. It's like people, and then that leads to other things. People would pay me to do that. So there you go. Monetarily, that's how life works. You get a skill, and monetarily, you start with a hobby, get a skill, then you start doing that for other people, and then you're doing something that fulfills a need in you that you like to do. And you're not under the grind of the man. Yeah,
that's the thing about mass manufacture, mass production, is that it really does drain away from you your ability to have passion and a love and a joy for what you do, and to really pour yourself into it. So you feel hollow, you feel empty, and so those sorts of skills where you hone it and people appreciate and are willing to pay for your the skill that you've perfected. That's so rewarding.
Yeah. I look at that Pink Floyd. What was it? When they're all marching in the Pink Floyd movie, and it's like they just go into work, and then they fall into this meat grinder, and then that's their life, and that's what they're trying to say in those videos. Like, man, it's just a meat grinder out there, and it's just if you follow the herd and you don't really figure out ever who you are. Man, that's going to be a horrible existence.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't listen to Pink Floyd. You should listen to The Who, because they had the song, Who Are You? Dun, 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 dun. I really want to who are you? Who. See, that's it. Anyway, there's a comment here by Wookie, and maybe you want to describe them as personality flaws, but I don't like to use the word flaws. I would rather use traits.
Personality defects.
No, they're not defects. This is who you are, and we all have those traits that may be great on other people. Maybe they're great on us at times, but this is I think with it, up and down.
I
think the reason why people use that term is because it's kind of self-deprecating, and it kind of doesn't make you seem like you're boasting so much about your own individuality. So, like, I understand why people use that term, but at the same time, like when you sort of do a little bit of digging into it, you sort of realize people are just trying to have their own specific skill set, their own uniqueness acknowledged without boasting. If you know what I mean, that's
maybe.
that's where that. Yeah.
But he's
Maybe.
he's doubling down now. He says that they're flaws. Okay, then.
Yeah,
double down. Okay,
Yeah,
you do that.
I've noticed this lately with this thing going on now. There's a little heightened animosity, and if you do have friends now, you have to see them more, and that brings out you notice their character defects. And me and a friend just had to talk about this. We went through a little thing, and then it's like we all have flaws, we all have character defects, we all have. Every single one of us. None of us are perfect people, and acknowledging that we all do, and philosophically, that would be acknowledging I don't know everything. Is part of Kuhn's. You just acknowledge you don't know everything. Acknowledge I'm not a perfect person, and understand that empathy and awareness of other people relies on you acknowledging that to yourself and them acknowledging that to you. That makes for a perfect friendship. I understand you're not the perfect person, and I'll get over that. And I have a friend that's bipolar. We have to deal with that almost every day. But us. Usually in a group you would ostracize that bipolar person, but now that I've become more empathetic towards life and I've changed my attitudes toward casual cruelty and everything, now I accept it in them, and I said this is just a part of his personality.
You know what you're actually talking about right now is actual diversity. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's an intellectual way to look at diversity. It's a more ingrained human thing, how you look at your friends, how you look at people around you, how you can be a better person. Tolerance. Yeah, your tolerance level towards, and because you want that same tolerance. You want when I do something stupid, and I do once in a while, and when I do that, yeah, me too. I do it, and especially in here we can present these perfect people, but out in the real life, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm gonna do something sometimes that once in a while I'm gonna drink some Jamesons and get drunk, and I'm gonna say things that that I really didn't intend to. Accepting, okay, Joe is just being a little Joe. That's what they'll say. Joe is just being a little Joe, and we accept them that way, and that makes it. But in this heightened whatever it is now. We all must be a little more aware of that, especially with your friends and your family, and people are going to be a little crazier now.
Well, to err is human. I forget who I'm quoting, but to err is human.
Yeah, and then you have an opportunity to see what people are really like too. There are some people that you don't want around you because they're going to show their true personality. So there's a balancing act we're doing here now, isn't it? But that's life, and it's yeah. Now, we can apply it to the world we live in a manner, like you said, with diversity, with acceptance of other people and that stuff, and whatever your moral and social conscience is too. You have to always filter in what is your moral gauge. So. And that's a lifelong pursuit. What is my moral gauge? Am I adding to it? Am I taking away from it? Am I being a little more libertine these days, or too much libertine? Or God, there's so many questions. But as for philosophers, we like to delve in. There's never an easy question. There's not supposed to be an easy question. We're supposed to question everything.
No. Bayman is right. They don't want to question everything. They just want an echo of what they already think. They say they want diversity of everything, but they want everything the same.
It's nice to be told having somebody to agree with you on that, but it's not really the truth, is it?
It's not.
It's not the truth.
Except here in MGTOW.
Yeah.
In MGTOW, we search for the truth. We do discourse. We do these things. We look at things. We examine them. We do what the science of philosophy says we're supposed to do. We question everything. Even just a little while ago, when I questioned fatherhood, it's my job to question fatherhood. I have to. Does it stand up to scientific proof, biological proof, sociological proof? I did the 3. I did the 4. I did the 4, and it didn't stand up. And then now everybody was mad at me because it didn't stand up.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make that a truth. I mean, I questioned the truth, but it wasn't that it's not. It's natural in the world, and if you do these things, and it doesn't stand up to truth, we must question and we must ask, well, what is the truth? And that's the only way to get to the truth.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really frustrating about the whole thing you're talking about with fatherhood, especially, is that it becomes something that becomes. I hate to use the terminology, but it definitely becomes something it's a social construct in that we kind of create. We create what the truth is around that, but when you actually break down what it is to be in that situation, given the context that like you and I have to live in our day-to-day life, it's like, well, a lot of the things that you're trying to tell me about how it should be or how I should be or what I should do or what it should give to me, those things they don't connect. None of that connects.
Yeah, now we can incorporate small pieces and parts of the social construct into our life. But to do that, it depends on your specific personality. Then after you know these, it's like the MGTOW thing. After you know of MGTOW, I mean, you can incorporate these things into your life, but it's difficult at some points. It's like, okay, this is red pill, this is the truth, and that's what we call falling back, or when people notice these things, if I back-treaded on that and stuff, and they would go, well, Joe's falling back from his position now. And but it is easier. Ignorance is bliss too. We must understand that ignorance is bliss, and sometimes that fantasy fiction world that the most normies live in, the father, mother, the traditional stuff, that's all fantasy fiction, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
But how much do you want to bring of that into your life, and how dangerous is it?
Yeah.
That's the real.
That's a good point. You just say, how dangerous is it? Because
how dangerous
what happens at that point is your mind shuts down, because your mind refuses to acknowledge the realities of the situation and wants to live in this construct. Right. And that's very, very dangerous.
Yeah. Now we all live in a certain construct. Hey, I got water that comes in my house. I got electricity. I got people do things for me, and there's that social thing. It's not even a social; it's infrastructure and community and that stuff. Even that, how much we got the going gold section. How much of that do I do? Can I do my own water? Can I get my own electricity? Can I put solar up? Can I, how far do I want to go on that too? Is the same question. In life, and MGTOW's. Nobody said MGTOW was ever easy.
No way is it easy. But it's worth.
You have the choice to live in that world a little. If it's going to be just life changing for you to pull out of that, stay there for a while. Figure it out a little more. No MGTOW's asking you to just walk off, wander. We used to laugh about that. Wander off into the woods and make an existence for yourself. That's impossible nowadays. So we're always doing that balancing act between what fantasy fiction world do I live in?
Yeah.
It's like if I lived in the naturalistic world, it's cruel and it's harsh, and I know it's just me, and I got to do that. Not very. That wouldn't make a very good. That wouldn't make a very good sales pitch for MGTOW, would it?
No, because the reality is that all the modern conveniences that we enjoy in this day and age, they come as a result of the collective efforts of other human beings working together to achieve a goal. So, like, there is. This is why I sort of try to bring up this point with people who try to do. what's the term for disaster preparation? Preppers. I try to bring it up with them and say there's a certain limitation that you'll reach where your own individual capacity will be a ceiling for what you're able to try to do, what you're going to try to achieve for what you want. So
Right. Yeah.
there is a ceiling for that, and a lot of people really don't appreciate how much effort is put in on a massive scale to be able to afford us the conveniences we have. And
Right.
so, it is a fine line to walk. You have to really understand and appreciate what it takes to have the things that you have in your life that you need, or that you appreciate and you look forward to. So, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, even when you can apply that theory of the prepping, it's like how much is too much? What would be an overage? We see the funny meme on TV now of the prepper that's living in the concrete bunker in his backyard. Now that's an overage. You might need that person might need some mental help. Somebody to talk to, somebody to work them back into reality. You go overboard with a lot of these things.
What's that one with Tom Hanks? Wilson. He's talking to them. You go a bit insane.
Yeah, that's a good analogy too, because he needed Wilson at that point. I mean, he needed Wilson so much. He needed Wilson, but after Wilson, and I love the scene with the balls floating away, and he's screaming, "Wilson, Wilson!" It's like,
it broke my heart, that scene. That was actually way more emotionally. It was more visceral than I expected.
Yeah, but that was his coming. That was metaphorical for coming back into life. He's coming back into life. He's on his way there. He sees the ship, and he got excited. It's like, okay, now I got to enter this new life, which was the old life, but now it's going to seem new. And how do you I got to release all these things? I'm no longer brushing my teeth with a stick.
Yeah, that's a bit rough.
Yeah, but I love the thought behind the movie. Some people watch. You see this in people too. Some people, my ex-wife used to. She could watch a whole movie and never see none of those little nuances.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like, that's. I used to think it was very strange, and then I started looking around, doing the MGTOW view and on the MGTOW bench of people around me, and I say, well, 90% of the normies out there they don't see the subtle nuances and stuff.
Yeah, they only see what's literal. They don't see what's implied or inferred. Yeah.
That goes to the heart of the MGTOW argument. You guys seeing the subtle nuances and what men do for you, what men provide in this. We're not just deadbeat dads and bad men and horrible rapists and everything. If you're focused on that, then you're fucking just you're in the water chasing Wilson.
Yeah.
You can't see. We're human, and we're not slaves, and we're not working machines, and we're not meat machines. But that's what society puts us as.
How did Macbeth put it? In the Merchant of Venice, I bleed. MV will help me out. He knows this.
You've got your pound of flesh. Now take it, but none of the blood.
Do I not bleed? No. What's the exact phrase?
Yeah, the Merchant of Venice. Do I not bleed? Am I not human?
Yes.
Yes. Am I not human? Yeah. But that's the disposable male aspect. We don't bleed. We're just, and that's a horrible Alex Cooper song.
Yeah.
That's the mantra of feminism. Did you know that?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes, that's the mantra of feminism.
They want the free tampons for it too.
Yeah, Jesus. Only women bleed.
Double entendre. I get you. Yep.
Now, it's funny you bring that up, Trev, because I brought up Alice Cooper's "Welcome to My Nightmare" last night. And This is a great
Well,
album.
it's a great. Yeah, that we examined that song years ago with I think it may have been with you. Welcome to My Nightmare, Alice Cooper talking in his sort of MGTOW. It's like, and that whole album is like the dielectric. You know, one song he's singing about oh and bleed, and the next song he's Welcome to My Nightmare.
Yeah. And then I think I brought up Cold Ethel. We got into necromancy, but
Necromancing.
Cold Ethel. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. It's interesting. We look at these artists. Sometimes we forget that these artists, most of them went to school for higher education for 4 years. They're very intelligent people. They, the words are poetry or have some meaning behind them, and a lot of them are philosophers, and a lot of them are just mumble rap. but yeah, you look closer into those things. This is interesting. Music has always been like fascinating to me. Censorship in the '70s too. God.
yeah.
Well,
Censored. I don't
music.
got it out.
Yeah, Alice Cooper was seriously censored in the '70s.
Yeah.
Who else was the big example I use on that was the censorship in the '70s when Gordon Lightfoot, if you could read my mind, if you look at the words and you look at what he says, it's totally different. He says she just doesn't understand, but the words they use they put and then they censored him out. And they couldn't play that because they were saying he was saying, well, she's just a woman that was making me into a slave.
Sorry,
And
what song is that again?
if you could read my mind.
That's a Canadian guy. That's
Yeah, Gordon Lightfoot.
Gordon Lightfoot. Yeah.
Yeah, and they censored him out in the '70s for saying that. But if you look at if you will go watch a modern video and look what he really says, it's more MGTOW-y. It's like there's some fine underlying things that he was saying. These women are just they just want chains on my feet, and in this fantasy fiction world, and they censored all that out back. And they did it with Alice Cooper. They did it with a lot of the Genesis, and the Beatles too. The Beatles are probably the main example of revolution. But yeah, that's interesting. We could take. Nobody's really did a really in-depth study on what they did censor out, what the Christian mentality in America at that time. The music was, in England, and where the music was coming, and what influences did their morality have on the music of that day, and gynocentrism and stuff like that. Interesting. That's something you could do during social distancing time. Just do a study on censored music.
Yeah. Well, there's obviously going to be a lot of it, but yeah, you should do a show on that Gordon Lightfoot song. That'd be great.
Gordon Lightfoot, yeah. I talked about it on something. I can't remember where I put it. When I first noticed it, I was like, he's not saying that, and that's not what the words are written from on the album. And it's like, that's censorship, because what he's saying is something really what would be considered misogynist against women.
I gotta listen to it and read the lyrics. That's right. You got what he's singing is different than the lyrics that are published.
Right. The published lyrics was highly censored. But when he was singing, it's a form of art. Now you can look at our copyright; it's a form of art. He can sing what he wants, but what he prints is totally different, and he wasn't allowed to print that. So that's an interesting thing, and that goes right up to our copyright laws now, and everything our censorship laws. I wonder if they're going to get worse now that we've gone through this, or if it's going to get better. There's optimistic people that think everything's going to get better.
Well,
no! At this point in time, they don't have to worry about censoring freedom of speech, because at this point in time, they're censoring your freedom of movement. Yeah.
Although I have to say, in the chat here, I think there's more freedom. People can swear and shit on it, right?
Yeah.
They loosened up something here on the YouTube chat. I
Yeah,
think.
now with the recent argument with Trump and the censorship they tried to do on him, I think that loosened everything up. So there was some positive momentum back in our favor to be
Yeah.
able to do MGTOW and say what we want to say. And he said it pretty good. He says, these people have opinions, and their opinions aren't invalid, and you're allowed to use your opinion as long as you don't. There are certain things, swear words, and that we've always known, and that's we live in an intuitive society. When I've gone too far, but these people that want to take that too far back to the other side, I think they know intuitively that they've taken it back to the other side too far.
Yeah, they understand the difference between being able to speak freely and just use vulgarities.
Yeah.
So they kind of they create this link between things that they don't like and what is
Right.
vulgar, what is unacceptable, and
Right. Yeah, that's an
which is
interesting philosophical question. Like they create this link between, and that's a rhetorical fallacy. It's a fallacy. They have this. How would they? If you examine how they did it, I think it would come out real clear. And if you put it down in P to Q logic, what they did and how they achieved that, and it's probably the antecedent was wrong, or the subsequent was wrong, or something like that. I'm not going to go over rhetorical fallacies now. That would be a brain work. But yeah, there's something they did wrong in that, and then logistically we can figure it out. But nobody does that work anymore. Well, since the Ayers case was about more than just what it was about. More, it was about there used to be these people, that logicians, people of logic, that the news had to represent truth, and then it had to logistically work out to a truth. And that was and now they don't have to do it because you do have your opinion. So there's the argument in itself.
Well, that basically ties back to this whole Nietzsche concept of objective subjective type paradigm, where basically what they want to be true, they believe is something that can be subjective, whereas they don't want to be perceived as something objective, and so it becomes subverted by people who want to control the narrative. So it's really hard in that kind of scenario to try to talk about what
they preceded it by law and said, if you own the company, you have the right to say what you want, or you have the right to dictate what's said in your company, which I think is wrong.
Well, that's an appeal to authority, I guess.
Yeah, that's an appeal to authority, and it's like all of a sudden they placed authority on that person, and all he really does is he has ownership. And ownership is sort of an authority, but it's not really. There's a jump there.
Yeah, well, it's an ownership to authority that kind of becomes an extension to ownership of truth. It's an extension onto that. So
right, and I think that's where people see fascism. Like when if I'm this person, I own like everything in the neighborhood. All of a sudden, I become the authority by proxy. No. Not really. There's other qualifications of excellence that needs to be fulfilled.
Yep.
Yeah, excellence. My God, that's a big subject, isn't it? Today we look around for excellence. You used to be a politician you used to be an authority, and you get that by how in excellence you achieve excellence. But nowadays,
and that's the meritocracy, and where we live right now is actually more like it's a lowering of the bar to comply to this this postmodern concept of tolerance and acceptance of mediocrity. So, people who fail and people who are incompetent become people somehow that we should accept and tolerate. And you yourself know, based on other videos you've done as well, you've had to follow up work that other people who are tradespeople have done shit, what was it? Your power box. You had to go through and rewire your power box or something like that. I remember you talked about it.
Working in back
And
of somebody.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a real kind of make that thought there. You're working after, or you're working with somebody that doesn't have the same concept of you, and it's like, wow, that becomes very difficult. Working in back of somebody. I always said when I come into a job, if I have to work in back of something, it's going to cost you more because I got to do more work then.
As far as I'm concerned, my life's it's priceless. So, like the time I spend to do work that I've paid someone else to do with my money, that I've had to spend my time to earn that money, to pay them that money, and now I have to do it again. Just hang on.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Something's not right here.
No, that rolls down to a lot of my concepts about paying for somebody else's B too. I'm not paying for your problems over there.
True.
Yeah, that rolls into a lot of little difficult little concepts in MGTOW that.
It does get deep. It gets philosophical, and I can appreciate that, and I do love it for that because at least you know that there's something more to it than on the surface. It's not shallow and superficial, so there's a little bit more to it that actually means something. It's not just how it's perceived or how people feel, but you crunch the numbers, and there's a lot more to it. So I can really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's better. It's better now than it was before when I'd taken everything at surface value and I accepted everything they were giving me, and now I'm the rebel. Now I question things. Now that's what the book The Rebel was about: questioning the world you live in, and the absurdity of it. It's like,
but you're not Antifa, bro. If you're not Antifa, you're not counterculture, bro. So therefore, you're the normie. And anyway, I'm going off on a whole other tangent.
I'm ostracized from the Antifa group. That hurts. I don't even know what those people are. Well, you know what? It's absurd too. Antifa is basically absurd from the beginning because it's anti-fascism. Doesn't everybody believe in it? Don't we all believe in anti-fascism?
Duh.
Yeah, it's like, duh. It's like something you don't have to explain to me. I don't want a fascist government. Like, so.
Yeah. Fascism bad. Fascism bad.
Yeah, that's like, I'm not a caveman. I understand anti-fascism, but you're claiming it as a neo-logoism?
It's almost like equality equals good, but however, equality sucks, and it almost feels like it falls in line with this whole they say one thing and do another sort of paradigm, doesn't it?
I think that was what Wallace was saying, wasn't it? MV, what was Wallace actually saying? And what was that book, that big, huge book you wrote, 1,000 pages or something? Wallace was saying about, you said stuff like, man, these modern, you're claiming neo-logoism. You can't do that. I mean.
Wait, sorry, I don't know which Wallace. Which Wallace is this?
Wallace he's sort of the millennial hero. It's what was his book?
Well, he sucked if he's a millennial hero. But anyway, I'm just talking shit.
I don't know this guy. A millennial hero.
I've been drinking, so just excuse me.
No,
I got the book. I just can't remember the name of the book. It's like 1,000 pages, and I read halfway through it, and then I was like, a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. He's an anti-postmodernism, and
anti-postmodernism.
Yeah,
but the postmodernists are the millennials. They're the emotionists.
Yeah. No, he gets a lot of stuff wrong because he looks at postmodernism wrong, and he labels postmodernism. That's the thing. Most people label postmodernism. And they don't. We just talked about it in a postmodern way about how we look deeper into things, and that's postmodern. We just look deeper for the truth. And
David Foster Wallace on what's wrong with postmodernism.
David Foster Wallace, and he's got that big, huge book. I read 500 pages of it, and then I couldn't do it no more.
Oh yeah, I got one here. Overcoming Postmodernism. Is that the name of the book?
No, God, what was the name? I got it right up on my book stand over there, but I can't get to it. Let me see. Oh, I don't want to click off or I'll lose this. I can't click on my computer. Oh, the Infinite Jest.
The Infinite Jest. Now that sounds familiar.
Yeah, the Infinite Jest, very popular. What he was saying and everything, but he delves into postmodernism, and I appreciate it because you're supposed to critique everything. I mean, critique. Go ahead, critique away. That's our jobs in life as philosophers. We critique everything, and that's the only way. Well, he's only explaining deconstructionism, nihilism, skepticism, existentialism. It's all the same thing. It's like we deconstruct things so we can take a better look at it and decide in our lives which one's right, which one's wrong. And that's what postmodernism is doing. It's taking from the modern, which was deconstruction, nihilism, existentialism, and what's our favorite? Pragmaticism.
Hang on, yeah. What wasn't it derived from critical theory?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you take in whatever subject you're taking in, and you have to scientifically take a look at it. But I've been reading about emotional existentialism lately, and as much as it bothers me, they always try to work into God thing and the Jesus thing and all that stuff, and I think that's a way in that they use, and it's sort of like the feminists did with Kuhn talked about with what the feminists were doing about saying all men are rational, and then they tried to we have to be intuitive, and somehow women are intuitive, and that's emotionalism.
Yeah. I don't know about this emotional existentialism. My God, that sounds horrible.
Isn't that? Yeah, I was reading this book lately, and I've been trying to open my mind up and listen to people about it, but I see the mistakes. But that's even these really smart guys that do this. Sometimes I blame it on the author that was reading it. I do a lot of audiobook, and then I realized that the author, the guy that was reading it, he's not the guy. He's just reading a book. You have to remember that. So it's interesting, but it gives you another view on something, and you can. Then your job is to what? Critique it. It's a never-ending critique until we get to the truth, because, man, in this world, the truth is so hard to come by.
Actually, I don't think it is. I think the truth is easy to come by, and I think we have to decide first of all what truth is, and if truth is just going to be a concordance of statement with reality, then that's not truth, because as I said before, I think life is more than statements. Life is experience. So
statements, experience. Even that,
experience.
What your experience? I was reading this other book about your experience. Well, your experience is right. Was what you, and that brings in the topic of what you've learned in life. Was that all right? Back to the MGTOW thing. What I learned in life, if I would have just taken that for the hardened truth, I would never be a MGTOW. I had to question, this stuff is wrong.
Yeah. And I'm looking, and I think I discovered a better way of looking at truth, which is truth is what keeps you out of prison, what keeps you out of slavery, and what keeps you from dying prematurely. And if you do that, you have
social
truth.
The social.
If it's social truth or political truth,
that's what's convenient. Let's be frank. You need that to be the truth in that moment, but.
Right. We were talking about that earlier we need, at some things point, you need to be true because that's just the way society works. And it's not true, but I need to it's not that I believe in it. I need to go that direction so things work out better. Now that's a different thought. I need to go that direction, or is it true? Are two different thoughts.
Well, you can, and I'll give you an example of that. You're caught in an ebb tide, you're being sucked out. It's not a direction you want to go.
Right.
But truth is that you go in a direction you don't want to go into until you can move off
until
of that.
I can move off of that,
and then you swim back in.
And
So
then I
that
swim
is
back.
truth. Truth
Yeah.
is that you go with the situation and you do
You don't
what
fight the tide.
You don't fight the tide. That's the truth in this situation. In another situation, no, the straight line is the truth because it gets
Right,
you from
yeah.
point A to point B. And
Yeah, and is there a point where I can break out of the tide too? There's other truths. There's a formal logic. It's analytical logic versus formal logic. Formal logic starts asking me other questions like, can I break out of the tide? Am I strong enough? Am I wore down enough? If I go with it for this amount of period of time and it becomes very scientific, and then I make a stride forward and go with it, make a stride forward. There's a lot of different truths in that.
Yeah, and whichever one winds up that you're back on the shore alive, well,
Right.
you found truth. And
Now
tell me about it. And talk about it now.
We just went over formal logic versus analytical logic, and it's not versus, but it's we have to break things down from that initial thought, and see there's thousands of different threads that break off of every single thought we're having.
Yeah, and we don't have to follow all of them because they're just thoughts.
Yeah.
What we have to follow is experience.
Right. I just make the most logical decision that's available to me at that time with what I know.
Yep. And then risk comes in and throws a wrench in all of it.
Yeah.
And,
God.
You don't know, but that's part of truth. And you can't put that into a statement. You can't predict it. You can't do anything. And this is the world. We sometimes just get bad luck.
We just got,
And sometimes we just get great luck. And
life is entropy. Everything wears away. Everything corrodes. Everything breaks down. And sometimes we have to fix those things.
Yep.
And go forward, young man, with the best information available to you. And
I just want to interject and say I have to take like a 15-20 minute break, and I'll get back to you.
Okay. Thanks for dropping in, JP, and we'll see you in a bit.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, people forget how really logical. I think in the modern MGTOW now, we've been discussing that lately in my subgroups. The modern MGTOW, we forget how really logical MGTOW is. And then we forget that these guys, man, we've worked through all those formal truths.
Yep.
And and they may sound, after the initial shock, I mean, these formal truths are even going to sound crazier to people that want to live in that fantasy fiction world. But, hey, we've got most of the answers now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it is a cogent philosophy.
Yep. The numbers are out there. The arguments are well-formed.
Well-formed.
With the experience of men, and then the laws are written down. The pathway is clear, and the signs are all posted. So,
but that old traditionalism says we're going to still keep doing what we're doing, even though they're putting, they're doing that same old crazy. They're going to keep doing what they're doing, and it's going to keep coming out wrong for men.
You see, the tide is pushing in one way, and you're trying to swim against it, and then you don't know how to swim across from it because this is an echo of 1,000 years, 2,000 years. You can't stop it in one just moment, unless you stop it in one moment.
At one moment, I was looking at the denying the antecedent, and that concept of denying the antecedent. What came before, even with the George, what's his name? What was the antecedent to what happened to him? And then some people take that as the antecedent, and say, and he was cashing a fake $20 bill or something, trying to steal from a store owner. And then some people go back that far, and then the police choked him out. But when I look at the police, they'll deny the antecedent that they choked him out.
Yeah.
But what's the subsequent on this now? So we have the antecedent. We know we have the subsequent. What will be the subsequent of this? Now we look at the riots and everything. That's the subsequent.
Yep. No, I believe we're onto something because I believe there's a forgetting that we're forgetting.
Yeah.
Almost minute to minute, we're forgetting what happened the minute earlier. Things are moving so fast that we've forgotten the pandemic. We're now in the purge. And next
Yeah.
week we're going to forget the purge and we'll be into something else. We won't know where we are.
Yeah, we always do that. As humans, we always deny the antecedent, what got us here. And why do men go MGTOW? Because, by cause.
That's right. There's a cause to it.
There's a cause to it. There's an antecedent to what happened. Most of these men will wound. Oh, who hurt you? You get
Now,
cocky little things like that.
I'm going to jump in on your antecedent. You suggested that George passed a fake $20 bill, right?
Yeah.
He cheated the store. I don't believe
Yeah.
he did, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because if you had what you know to be a fake $20 bill,
Right. You have to look at that. Yeah.
and you go into the store and you buy something, and then you go back out and you sit in your car for 3 minutes, you watch a police car then drive up, the police go out of their car into the store and then walk over to your car.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. And where did he get the $20 bill at? He
Yeah.
could have got a change at another
Yeah.
store. He could have even got a change at that store because that's the choice. So he cashed 100, got that change back.
Yeah.
When he came back in to use the $20 bill that he may have got at that store.
At that store. But that he sits there after passing this fake $20 bill
Yeah.
means that he didn't have a mens rea of guilt. He didn't have.
Right.
There's be no way that a guilty man is going to, in his own neighborhood even, pass what he knows to be a fake $20 bill for fear of getting
Right.
caught.
For fear of getting caught.
And he's not going to pass it at any store which has a camera or that has like a till
Yeah.
that has the reader, right? The automatic reader.
Yeah. Now people will go skepticism on that and say, oh, yeah, he might have known. Well, there's always mights and ifs in
Yeah.
these things.
But-
It's a might and if, but logically
lawyer-
right now.
Any lawyer would say immediately he didn't have mens rea because he went out and
Right.
sat in his car. There's no way the police could even make a charge stick
Mm-hmm.
on that. So
Yeah.
and so by moving so quickly through this, by forgetting, we don't get a chance to analyze
Right, we
what
don't
would
get a
be
chance to-
reasonable in that situation.
Right. Yeah. This is why philosophers should be on every police force, and there should be them logical positives that look at things and say, well, this couldn't possibly. And there's 3 types of logic. What is it? Inductive logic. There's deductive logic and inductive logic.
Yeah.
Inductive logic gets a little more complex. That was Sherlock Holmes was doing. He wasn't doing deductive logic. He was doing inductive logic.
Yeah.
Inductive. Yeah. So that's when you start. It gets a little more complex with existentialism and that stuff of what the world I live in, what truth am I looking for, and stuff like that, and wisdom, epistemology. What was I looking for? And I think we need more people like that in the universe like us. But hey, like I said with the Ayers case, everybody thinks it's subjective to their own opinion.
Yes, and I think this tool of the subjectivity of the emotivism or anti-rationalism or irrationalism has taken over, and
Yeah.
given the speed that maybe this is a defense mechanism that people are just happy to believe whatever they believe because they don't have time to
Yeah.
think about anything. There's too much coming at them, and
Yeah. Now, and I think that's where the emotional existence of the guy is going to there. Sherlock Holmes had to have he was based on a college professor. He wasn't based on anything. That's who he's based on. Doyle based him on a college professor that he studied under. And there's a lot more that goes into these things, and we need people to do that. But nowadays it's very hard to, I can't find a job. Philosophy if you want to find a job, philosophy is a really bad subject to take.
well, that's why I took it because I really didn't care about getting a job.
I don't care about what people think about, that thing on me and everything.
However,
changed.
I'm going to say that
It wasn't for a job; it was for me.
yeah, that's right.
At that point.
That's why you study. That's why you should study at university anyway. But
Yeah,
most of the graduates from the philosophy department that and I read the statistics, they take the LSAT and they become lawyers. So
Yeah.
a large percentage of lawyers studied philosophy.
yeah, lawyers, and I can see, but we need more people that
Yeah,
you
just
look at
critical
these things.
thinkers and logical
Critical
thinkers.
thinkers, and
But the
Because
police,
that's what,
the police are supposed to know that. They're supposed to know, at least mens rea,
yeah,
that if the guy has no idea of guilt or
yeah,
anything, you're not going to make it stick. There's no way to make it stick. So don't fucking handcuff him. Get his name, and if he comes up again within 5 years, you might have had a hit, you know.
yeah.
But
Yeah, that goes back to a little more. It goes back to some of the policies that were made during post 9/11 about internet and the way we talk and everything. Some of the policies that came from that was one of the policies I look at was being unable to. Not having the resources, when you go and not having the resources to make a bomb or something like that doesn't preclude you from being guilty of saying, I'd like to blow this place up. Now you're guilty of something.
yeah, threat or something.
But an actual person would say this person was never able to do this. It was he was it was like everybody said it in their life. Oh God, I'd like to kill you.
Yeah, it's venting or something like that.
He was venting, and that's what we have to understand. There's more things that go to these. There's more formal logic that comes out on these things. But they said, no, not having the resources to do it is not an excuse to to the law. And I thought that's ridiculous. If you do the further investigation and you realize that this person has no ability to do this, now it's just venting.
Yeah,
it goes to another.
And then you couldn't prove mens rea because if it's an impossible act.
It's an impossible act for them, yeah.
So they don't have any real intention to do it, so there's no way to do it. So they can't be held guilty because they have no intention of doing any harm.
Right, yeah. It goes back to a lot of our laws that we need to further deepen. And this would take asking the media, the press, the authority figures, to have a little more education in the philosophies, but at least someone would have to sit down and devise a course that they could take.
It's called logic.
It's logic, yeah.
And I took it, and unfortunately, it was 80% men. So
yeah. Now, my introduction to logic was in my when I took the private detective course. That was my introduction to logic.
Yeah.
And there's already courses that they should be taking. Now you got to start questioning, well, are these people being educated in that way?
If you read Agatha Christie, she's very good like that too. It's
She's
very logical.
Yeah, very logical what she does.
Very to deduce. Who did it is an art and logic and all of it.
Right. Yeah. It's an ability that I envy. You sort of work backwards on the book. You have these several thoughts during it, and you have a cogent idea how this thing's going to flow and everything, and it works out perfectly. That's a real skill.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
You can appreciate that in a book or a TV show.
She had a number of books back to Agatha Christie, but you read the corpus, the whole everything she wrote. There's so many books. And my God, how did she think of that?
I think I did take a writing course on that, and it's working backwards from the ending.
Yeah, if you can get to the end, but just to create that ending.
Then you got to create the middle, and you have your end, you have your middle, your basic writing, you have your topic, and then you have your body, and then you have your conclusion, And but even in that,
in some way, if we look at the world happening today, and but
I don't see that in media today. A body, a totally logical statement, then an explanation, and then a body, and then a real conclusion.
No, I don't get any arguments. I read a lot of articles, and I'm not getting clear arguments at all.
It's all subjective, and it's all my opinion and opinion based.
It's emotivism, and they're trying to lead you here, and sophistry there. So this is part of it, Aaron. This is why I'm getting upset. There, definitely were a lot of things this week to get me upset.
Yeah,
and
no, the answer to that is your responsibility to when you read an article to go, okay, this is bull, this is totally, and then throw it out. It's like watching TV. I don't believe that I don't believe that the little duck cartoons are real.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's your responsibility. And nobody calls the people on that, because you can do the and that goes back to our problem too. We can do the delusions, the picket fence and the white picket fence. This is this, and this is a beautiful place. Of course, it's a beautiful place to live, but is it real?
See, that's what I'm sort of thinking. Those men up there in the picture, and I'm leaving that picture up there. Those men have a delusion in their head. They think that they're marching and trying to protect the community.
Right.
When actual fact, they're the ones endangering it more than anyone else.
Right. I'm sure all of them showed up with good intentions.
Or most of them, yeah, definitely.
Most of them showed up with good intentions. We're going to change the world we live in. We're going to be more diverse. We're going to try to understand, and but in that, it turned to something
just
really horrible.
Just
the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I really haven't looked into that topic, but yeah, I know I've looked at it in the past, and we have similar problems in MGTOW when we were all excited. We're all gun-ho to do this MGTOW thing, but we don't know what MGTOW is yet. So there's a responsibility to the MGTOW to sit around like SFM used to say. He sat there for 2 years just listening.
Yeah. So we got another post here of that story. There's a lot of videos out there. I think I put the video in the link earlier on.
Yeah, what was that story that you were getting to? The actual topic of this conversation that we're supposed to be having?
Well, no, it was about that old man. He was 75 years old.
Oh yeah,
getting pushed down. And again, I'm going to say it's not the guy who pushed him down. That's not the problem. It's a bit of a problem, but it was the lying about it. So all the police there conspired to lie and say he tripped and fell. And then the chief of police conspired in the lie.
Yeah.
And then the mayor and the governor of New York found out about it, and they didn't fire the chief, and they didn't immediately recognize that there was a systemic problem.
There's the conservatism in that. I'm going to stick with the traditional story. We can have different words for these. It's the conservative bias. It's what I talk about when Ray Rice was when it happened to him in the elevator. Everybody, Ray Rice hit her, because that's the conservative look on that. But in reality, she punched him 6 times before he even got in that elevator. Everybody refuses to see and goes along with the lie, and that's what's always so interesting with me. How people you can show the video to them. You can say, okay, she punched him there, she punched him there, she punched him there, she got in, she rushed him in the thing, and he really didn't punch her, he flicked her off.
Yeah.
But the newspapers and the traditional people and the white knights and everybody were like, oh no, I didn't see that. They didn't see that in their head.
Right.
What were they seeing? How did their vision, their hearing, their sight, and all those complex things that we do, how did they get so warped?
Yeah. But in this case, it was quite simple. We saw the beginning of the altercation, as it were, the interaction, and then we saw it, and it was very clear that a number, maybe
very
not all,
clear what happened. Yeah,
but a number of the police saw exactly what happened, and the police released a lie, and those policemen didn't go immediately and say no. We pushed him down, and he fell.
Right.
And then the chief of police was involved in the lie. Then the mayor maybe didn't know about it directly, but once he found out about the lie, didn't immediately fire the chief of police.
Yeah,
so now we have people lying about doing violence.
Right, that's the conservative bias in there. When confronted with the unfriendly truth, they simply revert back to whatever they thought in the beginning. And
that he was pushed. I know they all admit, they call it utterly disgraceful, the action. So the mayor thought the action was utterly disgraceful when they found out about it, and yet wouldn't fire the chief of police. So that's
still
cowardice.
No action.
That's cowardice.
Yeah, there's still no action taken, and man.
So that's the problem. It's not the problem of the action of pushing it down, although that's part of it. It's the system that allows lack of accountability and responsibility in terms
Right.
of dealing with the violence that was lied about.
Right,
So-
yeah, and you have to manufacture a bias in your head to believe that too, or you're just plain lying.
Yeah, they were just plain lying.
Yeah, but at a certain point, you have to manufacture justifications and stuff
That's
like
right.
that.
And so maybe they wanted to manufacture justification, but there is no justification.
There's no justification in this, but yeah, that's when
Yeah,
you get into the
and-
fantasy fiction world again.
So
I
then
make this up
the
in my head
mayor-
and go,
If the mayor thinks that the chief of police was manufacturing a justification, or that the people on the ground were manufacturing a justification, then the mayor's job is to fire these people because obviously they're
Right.
incompetent and can't do the job. And that
Right.
is endangering the people of the community far
Right.
more than not having these people who can justify doing such things.
right, yeah,
And
there's,
have the sanction of the state, as it were, behind them.
yeah, and then back to the subject, where there's a lot of problems with logic in this whole thing.
Yeah,
Who,
no.
who
And,
who is the arbiter of logic during these things?
well, it's supposed to be, the chief of police is supposed to,
Yeah.
get to the bottom of it, and he's supposed to be told the truth. And if people are lying to the chief of police, then he's got no respect of the officers under him. So he's lost his leadership position.
And we've seen this in Cleveland with the police chief there too, and that's where I started looking at the antecedent and everything of that. All this stuff happened for a reason, and what I really didn't hear from him is an apology.
Yeah.
But we're sorry that these things happen. I represent the institution. He doesn't realize that he represents the institution that did this to this man.
Yeah.
And there was no apology. It's like just apologize. That's all these people, and these people will stop throwing bricks if they hear their apology. But he
Yeah.
refuses to give up the apology for some reason.
Yeah. And at some point, somebody's got to take accountability by resigning. You know?
Yeah, there's going to be heads
No.
will roll.
Yeah, not for the push, although that's bad, but for the
Yeah.
lies. The lies are far
For the
worse than the
lies,
push.
yeah. Now, isn't that the way our law is supposed to work? You're getting punished for the lies.
Yeah. The accidents happen. Nobody, the accidents happen. They pushed them. They shouldn't have. Okay, that's one thing.
Right.
Then there was a conspiracy of lies.
Conspiracy lie, no apology,
No apology. And then the video comes out. They had to backpedal on the lie, which means
Yeah.
they were trying to, be evil and hide it.
Right, yeah. Now that's a problem.
That's
a
problem.
serious problem, and that's a lot of the problem with what we were talking about today with the police, society, the whole general. How far were these people? I was reading a great book about that. It's called "The Elephant in the Brain." Did you read it?
No.
I think it was about people have motives and intentions that aren't generally necessarily good, even in we look after our own well-being most of the time. And that's what they were doing. They were trying to look after their own well-being, and they're willing to lie about it. We all do these things. Everybody, it's the elephant in the brain. It's like, what percentage will I do, or what will I escalate to look after my own in this world that I know is entropy. It's cruel, and I have to do that. So there is this elephant in the brain where we all do this too. But what tolerance do we give to that? But in this case, this is a great book you should listen to one day. It's a short listen because then it goes half the book is situational, and then half the book he explains the theory.
Oh, nice.
And that's the only half he really gives. I like books that do situational things after to explain how the theory works out in this situation, in this situation, and this situation. But I don't generally need it.
Yeah.
So you get a half a book. That's what I was disappointed. I think I gave it a 3 because it was only half a book.
Okay, then. Oh, well.
But
But
for the 3.
we got some discussion here in the chat that the cop who shoved the old man saw that the old man fell and went to check on him. Yeah. And then
Did he?
he was told not to, and you saw him be pushed forward, and there was something about his eyes which told me that he was able to manufacture some justification to go on living because of psychiatric pills. That they were all drugged up on something, or at least some of them were.
It's a possibility.
And then the other, the picture there shows, a legion of these officers just walking past, studiously avoiding this body. And I think this is such a cold-hearted act that it's damaging to these men.
That might go back to my these men coming at you. They have feelings and empathy too.
That's right. And what are they being forced to do?
Yeah. Now, is there a police psychiatrist that is giving these guys antipsychotics or something in a slight dose to remove that cognitive dissonance from them?
That's right. And this is not a good thing to do. If you got to do that to save your community's dead already. You're not saving it. The men who should be out there protecting the community should be fully aware and have empathy. You don't stop the guy, right? You stop. Other people stop and provide assistance. The blood was obvious. You stop. You made a big mistake. You stop. You stop everything. You fucked up.
Stop.
Now the military question of these things.
Hammer time.
Yeah. The
I've been drinking too much. Sorry. Go.
Yeah. Now, what is that called? I was looking at that the other day. What the French have a word for grenadier? Is it the military police?
Oh yeah. Gendarme. Yeah.
The gendarme. Yeah, are the militarized police? Is that what we're seeing now? And that would be the question of. He stopped. No, the way these guys are trained in the Grand Arm was, okay, you keep going. This is a battle. Now you militarized the people that are supposed to be empathetic.
Yes, right there. Yeah.
Now
this is not serving the people any longer. It's serving a war or something.
Right. There was a question about when a curfew. Like everybody goes off the street, that's including the police. Now, when the police are on the street, they become the gendarme, if I'm pronouncing that right, and they become paramilitary. Then
that's right.
So there's a different philosophy.
What you're talking about is escalation. Yeah, basically.
Yes,
there's a different philosophy in that. So the philosophy of them was like, okay, if someone's hurt there, that's the enemy.
Yeah.
But that's wrong.
That's wrong.
In that situation.
In that situation, it's not the enemy.
He's not the enemy. He's just
an old man.
He's just an old man that's trying to protest he's trying to, his right to protest.
That's right. He's an American. He's got a right to be there. And
in fact,
nobody's got a right for curfew. You can't put a curfew. You put a curfew on Paul Revere? Who in the fuck is going to put a curfew on Paul Revere? Oh, I'm sorry. Paul, there's a curfew. You can't ride tonight. You've got to stay in. There's no one by sea.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
You're under curfew.
Yeah, he was protesting the actual curfew that they were trying to put on at that time. That's what he was protesting. So it becomes what do you call that? Oh God, I can't think of it. You see it with I wouldn't want to go off that way. It'll be too complex.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sort of looking at that guy on the ground. Earlier on, it came out that, I'm looking at him as Paul Revere,
Yeah, he sort of was, I was joking with that with my friend the other day. I says he was going out to walk his dogs, and I said, don't forget your lamplight.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I don't know if he got it or not. But that's what we're kind of seeing right now. Don't forget, when you go out, don't forget your lamplight on a stick.
Yeah, that's right. And now, they're under curfew, so they can't take it. The British are here. The British are here.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So this is a bad time for the USA, and it's a bad time for men.
Yeah.
And I see so much disposability of men in this image and in this situation. Here and in Minneapolis and other places.
We see some communities, and they don't, what, it really pisses me off. Some communities are really reacting really good to this, but they don't show it in the news. Like up here, we had a protest up there, and all the protesters laid down on the ground in front of the police came and joined in. And that was their apology, like I was talking about. They joined in, and they joined in the march.
Yeah.
And then the march lasted an hour and a half, and then it dispersed. Everybody was happy because the police gave the apology, and they joined in. And they said, "We don't think this is right."
Yeah,
and
there's some good police departments around the country.
there are some good police departments, but we always see.
Of course.
But you know what
Well,
that means?
that's right. That's exactly right. You bring up a good point, because what it comes back to is radicalization by presenting people with the extremes or the exceptions to the rule in the situation, because it exemplifies people's perception of importance of the situation, so that it ties people. This all comes back to the media, which relies on people feeling they need to be compelled to watch the news. So it brings up ratings, brings up all that kind of crap. So they escalate things. So the stories that are really relevant to people that are meaningful in the situation, that are going to either de-escalate or going to bring some sense of humanity to the situation, they're not interested. They don't even want to fucking know about it, because they're like,
yellow journalism now.
There's a lot of yellow journalism, but then again, I caught the on the front page, as it were, the cops in Fayetteville. They went down and went on one knee to show support for the protest, and that was given high press. So, there's press on both sides.
Man, you know what this reminds me of? The book Torture Confessions. We're reliving yellow journalism, McCarthyism, and everything, and they did the thing in Iran where they had a movie show where you had to, when the clerics came out, and you had to admit your guilt, even though there was no guilt.
Yes.
You admitted your guilt, and that was tortured confessions. And that's what we're all becoming. You're going to parade us out and say, you guys are guilty. And the clerics, whoever the clerics may be in this, will that be the civil justice people? And then you have to admit your guilt on TV. And
is that flagellation? Is that kind of an analogy derived from that? Like, because it kind of seems like it's kind of giving in to the narrative, but at the same time, you're kind of sacrificing yourself on the altar.
Yeah, we've seen this with Maoism. We've seen this in Iran. We've seen this with McCarthyism in England. I can't remember the instance in England. Oh, it was with the shipping services over there in the early years. And then you just had to, if you don't go along with the party line or whatever it is at that point, you have to, you're going to be punished, and you're going to have to say something that's generally not true, just for the other masses and stuff. It's a very good book. If you ever get the chance to read it, it's Tortured Confessions, and it explains. You can see these subtle things in what's happening now. It's like the progression to the progression to what's going to happen, and that sort of Marxism. Like, can we see that these things are going to lead to these other things? And is there someone out there that we can put the brakes on right now?
Yeah, there appears to be no one. It seems to be a narrative that is spinning out of control in both directions.
Yeah,
that is a good point, because
they do need a victim. They do need a sacrificial lamb, but they also need the bad doer, and they're finding the bad doers and the sacrificial lambs in the same person sometime.
Yeah,
so
because
complex.
Yeah, Trav brings up a really good point. Like, where is the brakes going to be? Who's going to put the brakes on? And it's.
Well, nobody, if they're lying. And this is the problem.
No, well, this is a problem with pathological fucking liars and
psychopaths. Both sides. We could take a lot of different subjects, like Marxism, like the proletariat and the thing, and we could look at the dialectic between the groups and the bouncing back and forth, and then every time it bounced back and forth, it just widened the gap. And that's what's happening now. It's bouncing back and forth, and it's widening the gap, and there's no one to say, no, we're going to do it this way, and we're going to get back to the truth. And it's like, ooh, that's a difficult, because we see these things play out in history all the fucking time.
I know.
Somebody's got to pull it back in. Or
someone's got to pull it back in.
Because, the Black Lives Matter, they've got an agenda. The Antifa, they have an agenda. The
I was going to do a song now.
They have an agenda. The constitutionalists, they have an agenda, and nobody likes what's going on.
I was going to do the locomotion breath song, and Charlie stole the handle. We can't pull the brake because Charlie stole the handle.
this goes back to World War One or Two, man. Like the whole concept of agendas versus agendas. It goes back to the initial instigation of the world wars. So it's not an old concept.
It's not an old concept.
No, not at all.
It's not a new concept.
It's a control of the narrative, and that's probably the real problem that sort of fuels one side versus the other, and you end up with this whole left versus right paradigm, which I don't agree with, because I mean there's beautiful arguments from both sides that need to be acknowledged, and neither side of that argument want to listen to each other because they have this fundamental ideological mindset, and it just becomes a battle.
Yeah, the inability to listen and accept when you're wrong, and it becomes that battle. That's the bad part that comes out of it. Non-flexibility, and what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be critiquing each other in a very humble manner.
I'm thinking that what we're seeing here are people who were in positions of action, and the critique is over. They said
the critique is over. Now it's just
there should be action, immediate action.
No, because that's radicalization. That is the next phase.
No, I'm talking about the police. They see the video of the guy being pushed down. There's no critique. You fire the fucking guys. You tell the truth to the public.
Action.
And the police chief comes on and apologizes.
Because the problem is that the critique is lost in the grey. It's lost. It's muddied in the waters. So the ability to get to that phase, it's gone. So essentially, like on a fundamental level, where you're at from that point is war.
Right.
It's sad to say, that's when you're at that point. This is the boiling pot we're at right now.
This is what I'm saying with Cuomo. He sees what has to be done. He doesn't see it done. He sees the lies, and he sees the danger in having these lies, be washed up in a narrative, and no one's willing to take responsibility, and he won't. Well, what are you going to do? You got people lying, hurting people, and lying about it.
Yeah.
And the only reason they tell the truth is because the video comes out. Ooh.
When this goes down, I think about the Camus again. When the bow bends and the wood complains at that moment of time, and you become a supreme. What did he say? It becomes a supreme arrow. And
it's
that's what
righteous.
it's saying. And then
it's
now,
righteous,
when this action that's happened now is that arrow shooting, which is freedom, and it's going to look ugly, and it's going to be horrifying, and it's going to be an arrow, and it's going to be a force multiplier, and it's going to have all those aspects to it. But it's all this stuff that you have to make an action before an action. What was the action? And
because you cannot get a compromise. That's the thing I'm absolutely bamboozled about on both sides. There's no fucking compromise.
We only have one side. We only have one system.
Yeah, no. We have two sides. Two sides.
No, we got an old guy who's on the ground, and we got the police who lied.
No.
Well, that's obvious.
You're not seeing the forest for the trees, because the reality is we have those people who are willing to try to instigate chaos, to cause problems, to be rebellious, to fight back, and those people who want calm, and those people who want civility, those people who want sanity, and so those you got,
and both of those sides. Look at the old guy being pushed down, and then look at the police lying, and they agree it was wrong.
Yeah, they agree.
Bad.
They agree that is bad.
So
why they agree why that's bad is different.
That's
and that is
they
where the line is drawn.
They may agree.
That's where the line's drawn.
They may disagree on why it's bad, but they both agree it's bad. And in order to solve the situation,
but the Nazis agree that a soldier dying's bad. You know what I mean? Like everyone agrees that like death is bad. So like that's where it becomes something where there's common ground.
Military look at it. We agree that death during war is bad, but they're still going to go forward with it because they have this paramilitary attitude now.
Yes.
Well, yes, and that's bad, and the different sides may view it as bad for different reasons.
That's bad, and I feel bad for the soldiers on the opposite side.
There's only one side that needs to act in this. There's only one side that acted, and that's the police. And the hierarchy, which allows them to become militarized, which allows them to piss off basically everyone, and no one's taking responsibility and saying, I resign. I'm taking responsibility for this, and I resign. Nobody did it in Minneapolis. Nobody's doing it here.
Did it. No one apologized.
And they're lying. They're lying. They're not taking responsibility. And everyone agrees it's wrong. And everyone agrees that someone should take responsibility.
Yes. That's no, exactly right there. Everybody agrees someone should be held accountable, but no one will be held accountable.
That's it.
That is the problem, and that is the frustration. That's the frustration. And that is the very thing that people want to reconcile. That's the very thing.
Maybe people have different views about what needs accountability for exactly, but the actions both look bad. We got a death, we got a pushing down, but the real problem is the lying. And the lack of somebody standing up and saying, I'm taking responsibility for this, I quit.
Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah.
So I know
it's all over our government, you know.
It's a cycle.
And
even in men's rights.
The solution for that is, well, you saw the wall come down in 89. My God.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, even in men's rights, they know they're violating men's constitutional rights, and they know that. But no one's going to take an action. No one's going to because it's their job that's at risk.
Yeah. Because you know what, the system's broken, so therefore men should be willing to fill the gaps because that's the right thing to do. If you don't fill the gaps to fix the system, you're a bad man. So.
Yeah, you're a bad man, and the shaming and the we get that, and that way in MGTOW, it's like they know that they're wrong. They know that debtor's prison's wrong. They know that that there's constitutional amendments that were put into place.
They know it doesn't work.
They know, it doesn't work. They'll look at it and they'll just disregard it and deny it.
Yep. And it was shoved under the carpet. But right now, we're looking at a number of incidents that highlight the whole thing.
That's common to government, isn't it? At least most governments nowadays. It's kind of common too. I think these people are smart enough to get. If you got to get that job, I think you're smart enough to know that some of these things that you're doing are wrong. But do you want the job? And that's what they're saying. Do you want the job? That's good paying government job. Yeah. And the police are like, I want to keep my good paying government job.
Yeah.
And you know what they're comfortable with? In that process, they know that they're putting other men, the communities, societies, and families in a position where they're going to be compromised. They have to pay a price, and they're comfortable with that. Like they're
even
comfortable.
Giving tickets.
No, I don't think they're comfortable. I think they're on psychiatric pills. A lot of them.
Yeah, even giving tickets. If you go 35. If you go 35 and a 25, you might kill someone. It's so subjective. And so they give their neighbor a ticket and say, sorry, George, I just have to do this to my job. But the logic of it is totally ridiculous.
Say sorry.
I'm here, Todd. I'm so sorry. I'll be over for dinner, etc. like normal. But that's what they're doing. They have to, from the beginning when you're a cop, you have to lie to yourself about the logic of things.
But in the grand scheme of things, you know why they have this mentality of accepting the fact that men are willing to bear the brunt of the fact that things don't work, is because men will bear that brunt.
They will bear that brunt, right?
Now, but you never know. At some point, some of these men may say, "I'm not taking the psychiatric pills." If they push a man down, I'm not lying. I'm going to tell the truth because I want to look myself in the mirror. And then
That's the counter to the whole thing. And I mean, I'm talking like whole fundamentals type stuff here. We all know this shit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like this is stuff that the reason why they expect us to bear the brunt of the fact the system doesn't work, it's broken, and there's gaps that need to be filled. Yes, they'll feel compelled to.
There's a lot of psychopaths in power. There's a lot of people on psychiatric pills in power. And they've really just fucked up the system.
Yeah, Kuhn went through this too when he made the comment, do we just do this for the pay, being scientists? Yeah, at a certain point, we just do that for the pay. And that seems to be the end argument on everything.
Yep.
Or what I'm willing to accept, do I just do it for the pay?
Money isn't everything, but you're not going to live long without it.
Yeah, you're not going to live long. Yeah, it's the measure. It's the tool in which we measure men in America.
Yeah, unfortunately.
One of them.
Unfortunately, that is.
Man, you need a basic one, but the aggregate level of resources. Okay.
It is a superficial means of measuring a man's capacity.
Yeah, I got to eat.
Yeah, you got to eat. You need a basic. Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, there's a couple things I need. I need water, I need food, shelter, and I got to eat. It's like, I mean, when the basics come down to that, too, and this would just be an argument for a what do you call that? A permanent state of living, a living wage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to go into living wage.
Minimum wage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would those men choose to do what they're doing or just stay at home if they got paid anyway? Well, they just stay at home.
Right. If police officers got a living wage, would they do the right thing then? Because it wouldn't be the money is just guaranteed.
Ah, yeah, okay, yeah.
Had a living wage. If society had a living wage and the money was guaranteed, would we have all these arguments now?
No. It'd be a different situation.
Yeah,
and everybody was sort of. I don't want to go into egalitarianism. We're all equal. We all have a right to live. I need food. I need shelter. I need this and that. Now we're going into communism here, but is it a good idea?
Yes.
Because some of these problems can be solved with this if instituted the right way.
I'm glad you brought that up because you have pretty much very simplistically illustrated the point about the beauty of the fact that you need to have a point to live. You need to have a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
no, you don't. You need to have psychiatric bills sometimes. A lot of people, that's all they have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, welcome to 21st century, but I mean,
we heard this before in the 70s with MK Ultra too. It's like making men killing machines so they forget about the acts that they're doing with the psychotropic drugs. I mean, that's always been an issue, and it's the same issue now. What you're saying, like the police, are they on these psychotropic drugs that eliminate empathy?
I don't know.
So
empathy's gone. Empathy's gone because of the fact that we have ended up in a situation with radicalized capitalism that has resulted in narcissism, and so narcissism has prevented people from being able to create this empathetic or compassionate connection with their fellow human being because it creates a predatory environment. So this is a bigger issue. We talk about predatory capitalism.
Yeah, predatory capitalism, and that's when capitalism is wrong and it goes too far.
That's why I will entertain discussions about Marxism when he talks about the failings of capitalism, because he brings up some very fucking valid points.
Well, there's some valid points in everybody's argument. You just have to be, a lot of these people that I run into around here, they're not willing to entertain the unfriendly truths of some of the stuff. And no, there's unfriendly truths in there, but you got to accept it and move on. That's what being a scientific philosopher is about. Okay, that's true. That's true right there. We just, and that's a good thing. It's a good quality. We just used to call these people very liberal and very, and now liberals become a bad word. The new neo, and then there's on top of that, there's neoliberalism, which I don't
they used to be called progressives. But,
progressive. And MGTOW in itself is progressive as fuck. That's what I always say. If we understand that truth, we don't like marriage. We don't like all those religious things that go along with it. We don't like our roles as it. That's very progressive. I mean, but that's a good progressive.
Well, progressive is perceived by the normies as something that contributes to what they what they consider to be beneficial to what they perceive to be the future. So, progressivism is considered to be progress towards the future. What is the future?
What is the future? And yeah, they sort of made it a pejorative too. The media did, and not the people. We were trying to get to some critical analysis of the world as we see it, and then they made it into a pejorative, which hindered the process. Which goes back to what we were talking about. The process didn't really play out to an answer.
Well, progress for the sake of progress is redundant, really.
We didn't have mature enough people to sit back and do the discourse properly.
Yeah.
Without getting our feelings hurt, God.
That's the problem. That in itself is another question as well, because feelings are intertwined with their own beliefs and our own existence. Because yeah. So and the ability to be able to.
Here would be the argument to the police. At a certain point, you have to put that away and argue the stuff. Now, the police, that's what they did in a sense. They put it away.
Yeah.
And so we come back around to that argument. But when SFM, you say if you can't take a 300-second timeout where you're in a MGTOW chat, you're not a MGTOW.
I had that happen just the other day. I don't know if he's going to come back. Red Pill Repository didn't like a little.
Yeah, if you can't take a 300, if you're so whiny and so complain that you can't take. How many times have I gotten 300? I just shake them off and I come back and I continue with what I was saying because I believe what I'm saying is right.
Yeah.
And that's the way we're supposed to act. But in MGTOW, that's what I think when we call people these softies, these guys. Yeah, if you can't take a 300-second timeout, even in science, if you can't take a timeout in science, you're not a scientist. I mean, you're way too emotional. But that would go back to the females, the intuition.
Yeah, that really comes back to a failure of communication, because communication mostly is listening.
Yeah, listen and then insert, and if you hear something that changes your mind, say, "Oh God, I was wrong about that. I'll adjust," and be willing to say, "I don't know nothing about this too. Please teach me."
that is something that I try to practice a lot more. But you need to be able to acknowledge the fact that you may know something, but you may not know enough to be confident.
Well, that was Kruger-Dunning, wasn't it? As much as I believe Kruger-Dunning is bullshit, there's a mean. You have to go to the mean. That's where it becomes biased. I mean, it was like most people won't admit that they don't know something about something. So they automatically go to the mean. Like, I'm pretty smart. But
hang on. Did you just say most people will admit they don't know something?
No, they will not.
Is that what you said?
Kruger-Dunning predicts that most people will not admit that they don't know something.
Will not admit.
What?
Will not admit that they don't know something.
No, in the age of narcissism, most people think they know fucking everything.
Most people don't think they know everything.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's the same thing in negation. Yeah, it's the same thing in negation. I use negation sometimes. They won't admit that they won't admit that they don't know something. Yeah. They'll automatically, I'm the smartest person in the room. Like that was Kruger. And I believe that's regression to the mean is what it was, which is a bias. But in there's some logic that and I believe that it's an amount of shame is what I was trying to get. Most people when If
Yes.
you're in a conversation and you don't know what the people are talking about, you feel a little shame for yourself. And it's like,
Yeah,
okay, I should
yeah.
learn about that and I should sit and listen. But most people will just go, oh yeah, I know about that. And then the others won't notice.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. That's
Yeah.
very
Hmm.
relevant in my day to day life right now. So that resonates with me personally on this level right now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah. And there's some problems, and I know Kruger Dunning has some problems with the what you call always call it the dialectic, the two sides of two things. Were these
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
biased from the beginning? Was it a regression to the mean? Which is a forgivable act. What's the other side of that? Was there
Why would regression to the mean be forgivable?
because that's what the world does. We have two things.
Oh,
And,
conformity. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if like the monk, we can see the argument play out in MGTOW with the monk and the libertine. Like somewhere
Yep.
in the middle, most of us fall. We regress to the mean, not the meme. So
The
we're
average.
somewhere in the
The
middle.
mean average. Yeah.
But if you're over here, you see this guy over here, and you go, "Oh, you're one of those fucking monks. You're one of those." No, it's somewhere in the average. We're all somewhere in the average. How far you pull the one side or the other is just
Yep.
kind of natural. We do that naturally. We try to coexist in this world with each other.
Yep.
So
Okay. That makes sense. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
I think I probably went off there a little somewhere, but
No, you're right. You're all right.
I can't even remember what I was trying to prove. What was the antecedent to that?
Oh, I don't know. I have a habit of doing that when I've been having a few to drink, bro. Sorry, bro. I don't mean to derail
That's
that
great.
conversation.
No worries.
Yeah, this is just OG. Okay.
Yeah, OG as fuck.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, we all get them, and I think that's what we see with a lot of our society now. They are just unwilling to say, "Oh, I was wrong. I don't know about that," or
You know what I think that comes back to. I don't know, you brought me back on topic, and I appreciate that. I think it comes back to a fear of rejection
Yeah.
for the fact that they may be wrong. It comes back to
right.
a concern of being rejected from the group, and
Is there a
not,
warranted fear too? There is warranted fear because okay, all of a sudden you're ostracized from the group because you don't know about that. Because man, we're just, and that's what I was getting with the people that did the research, where they just did what we call the elite, or they're going to ostracize these people from the group, and there's warranted fear of not knowing.
Yep.
So that would be another threat off of that.
Or is it fear that's from perceived retaliation?
Yeah,
You know, like that's the other thing. That's
retaliation. Yeah,
because most people will operate in their parameters. Most people won't be in a position where they can understand that there will be a actual and literal reaction to that, but there's a perceived. It's almost like looking into the future. It's trying to anticipate the reaction to their reaction. So
this is very MGTOW. If you go MGTOW, there's going to be a reaction by the normies to you, and then we get that. There is a real action that comes too. They will try to destroy you. So there is a real fear here for us too in MGTOW. They will try to destroy me.
Oh, it's yeah. It will be. It will play out that way, but in that moment, it is still a perceived fear of the potential. The potential has to play out. I'm getting a little bit philosophical. I'm sort of I don't mean to be, but like I understand what you're saying, and you're true. You're true, but I don't want people to get like full. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they get into that fear that but anyway, I'm sorry, I'm looking for a term and I can't find it, but you're right, and I agree.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, there was it
Thanks,
kind of
Sid,
flipped up
for coming
sometimes.
in, Sid.
Paranoia,
And thanks,
paranoia,
Paranoia, yeah.
paranoia, paranoia.
Yeah,
Paranoia.
paranoia.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Sorry.
yeah, there's a lot of justifiable why people do things, and if you don't look deep enough, sometimes you'll never see them. And if you take the surface value, it's like, oh, that guy's just a coward, or this guy's doing this. It's like, no, sometimes there is justifiable why he's doing it, and I understand a lot of these things, but most humans, like, they won't do the red pill. They won't look deeper. They won't.
No, it's scary because
It's
you have to
scary.
do introspection. You have to analyze society. You have to analyze the media. You have to analyze your childhood.
Yeah,
There's a lot to break down, man. There's a lot to break down.
yeah. Yeah, and like V was saying, you analyze your experience in life too. It's like, how was I raised? Oh, there was a good thing. I seen Trevor Noah do this the other day, where the Happy Birthday song. Trevor Noah's in South America, his mom taught him the Donald Duck Happy Birthday song.
What?
And then he went into school. In kindergarten, they said, we're going to sing the Happy Birthday song. And then everybody started, happy birthday to you. And the Donald Duck Happy Birthday is, woo, it's your birthday, it's your birthday. And he was singing the wrong song because that was his experience in life.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't like
mom
him
gave
so
him
much.
bad
So I
information.
would have loved that.
Yeah. Now when we analyze this, his mom gave him bad information about what the norm in the world was.
Yes.
And we start looking at that, and like a lot of people, like, well, in MGTOW too, we admit that our moms and dads gave us bad information about what the world really is.
Not so much our dads.
Yeah,
It's heavily tied when we're very young, up to like 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Tied very heavily to our mothers.
Yeah, our mothers, our fathers, and that traditional thing that they were doing. But I was looking a little deeper into the norm of the Happy Birthday song. It's your birthday, and we're celebrating your birthday. It's personal to you. In the Donald Duck song, it's everybody gets to celebrate.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
birthday. So it takes away from your special day. And I thought, well, the norm of the Happy Birthday song is normal because it's sort of perfect in its sense. So these norms are just, these are perfect in their sense, or at least the best way to do it. So it was an interesting thing. He was telling the story, and I was going through this philosophically in my mind, what was happening, and at that point he was socialized the wrong way. But we get blank slate theory from that. We're all socialized in a blank slate. We start a blank slate. And then how these people put things and ideas into our heads, and there's no quantitative way to do it. We all go to different schools, and we wonder why there's inequitability.
Yep. Socialization's a funny thing, because you see more and more throughout the generations. You see individualism rising up, and as a result of individualism, they are going to then pass that on to their offspring. So there's going to be a disconnect between the individuals that raise. You see what I'm saying? Like,
like the mom was individual, when she taught that to him, and that's a very individual thing. Does he have the right to do that individual thing in the classroom? No, because he disrupted the whole, and he thought he was right. That was the whole thing. There was no way to explain to him that he was wrong.
Because he wasn't socialized right. And this comes back to a big problem with a lot of the youth, probably post-1980, 1990, is socialization. And this ties back...
They're all special individuals.
And this ties back to... individualism and narcissism, because individualism will give birth to that, because that becomes the extremities of being an individual in that you create this sense of self-importance based upon the fact that you think that you're more important than other people, and
we see that a lot now.
Yeah.
I did a video about individualism towards being individualistic. They're two separate ideas, and he was being very individualistic.
I did see that, and I think I actually commented on that video. But I did see that.
Individualism. What I wear as a shirt or my hat choice, that's individualism. I could be an individual in an artistic sense. I project my personality out into the world. That's a great thing. But when you're too individualistic, like in the case of Trevor Noah saying that individualist, you rub against the norm of societies, and then those norms are created through the generations because they're the culmination of all our arguments. They're the truth. Right now, the happy birthday song is, we all know it. We can all do it. It's there's a reason why we do it that way. But when you get too individualistic, things, don't expect things to go your way. Expect the world to change for you.
That's the grey area, isn't it? Like that's
the grey area. That's what
you're like. You can express yourself for who you are, but don't expect that to put you in a position where you can be tolerated or accept it.
We're becoming very individualistic, and they're like, we can be libertine, we can fuck dolls, we can do this, and that's okay. No, that's very individualistic.
Oh,
and that's not the norm.
I'm sorry. I don't want to touch that topic.
Yeah, I know.
I agree, but I don't want to touch it.
People yelling at me for that too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know. It's a hot topic. I don't know why. Maybe it's because
not the norm yet.
Not the norm. Yeah. Now, if it proceeds in that, and everybody agrees that that's okay and everything, which I don't think is going to happen. I mean,
I don't know.
Norms. Well, that's a difficult subject. What becomes norms in our society usually becomes laws. All our norms.
What is socially accepted? What becomes the common behavior? What becomes something that people tolerate to the point where they accept it?
They don't. The thing is, what don't they tolerate after that? It tells you what not.
Yeah. Well, intolerance.
People are changing the definitions of words, I find, very easily and very quickly because of social media and the way that information certain pieces can just, the first time somebody hears a word, it's defined in a new way for like millions of people.
They're not changing it; they're co-opting it. You need to use the right language. Yeah, they co-opt it.
Definitely, they're co-opting.
Well, that was Godfrey Smith's argument and the theory of science. He was saying that these words are being co-opted, and everybody thinks it's this and this and that, and they believe they have their individual to interpret linguistics that way. No, what we all have to do is come to a common linguistic.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the words don't mean anything. Words are only relevant to us because we all commonly accept that they mean the same thing.
That's right.
Otherwise, words mean nothing.
Otherwise, they mean nothing. Words have meanings. That's why I always say that.
Yeah, words have meanings.
Words have
change it on me without telling me.
Yeah, don't change it.
Yeah, give me the memo, fucker. Give me the fucker memo.
Yeah. Did I get the memo? Too.
Yeah. Some people have it.
I'm on that. Fuck. World is funny place. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying that. Shit, nigga.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Oops, sorry.
Ooh.
Got racial.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You goddamn Aussies.
I've been drinking. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's night for you. It's way night.
Oh, it's
way Friday night.
Yeah, it's like AM. It's AM. Well and truly.
I really haven't even had my coffee this morning yet.
Well, is today Friday?
Yeah, today's Friday.
No, today's Saturday, bro.
Holy shit! I gotta go up tomorrow. planning.
For you, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
For me, it's Friday.
It's already fucking Saturday. I'm going up.
Friday
That's
after-
why I'm gonna finish what I'm drinking, go to bed, wake up, and hopefully I can catch the next stream.
Yeah, well, Jesus. I think I'm going to end it now then. I better get some sleep. And
Oh shit!
No, it's good timing. Good timing. Anyway, I think I'll end it here. It's been a great discussion, boisterous and fun, and we started on a serious note, and the serious note still exists. We've got to come to terms. What's normal? And are we looking at a new normal? I don't know, and I certainly hope not.
New paradigm.
Because it's all involving the disposability of men. And none of this is good.
All roads go to Big Toe. It's like, oof.
Yeah. And, I might say that I'm optimistic that young men are actually not in the numbers they were falling into line into the old narratives. So that's what the numbers are telling me, at least. So on that edge, we're looking at more men taking a critical eye at their futures. But maybe not enough. Never enough, I guess. Anyway, any final words, Trav?
Oh, thanks for having me on. I really needed this personally because I've been kind of pulling back, and just thanks for having me on and letting me voice my opinion and try out some new philosophies and see if they hold water.
Yeah, no, you're always welcome. It's great to have you on. And the ideas are great, and it's good to bandy them about. Get a little bit deeper. Any final words, PJP?
It's good to see your beautiful face again, Trav. I haven't seen your luscious beard in a while, brother, so I appreciate that. And,
so funny
it was a... Sorry?
That's so funny to me when I do that. It's just funny. It's a personal me joke. Like, oh God, I'm so beautiful.
So it was good to catch up with you again, Trav. I haven't seen content in a while, so I appreciate you being here tonight. And tonight, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are. Yeah. And I was lucky to catch the stream. I was at the time of night where I was kind of thinking, I might wrap the evening up for tonight and get some sleep because I wanted to be awake and alert for the listening post tomorrow, but everything sort of fell into line. So take care, gentlemen. And it's been a good conversation. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me, MV, and
always.
Thanks for coming.
I hope to be able to catch the stream tomorrow, bro. I'll be about and available, so drop me a line.
Yeah, I will. We'll get you on in a few hours, I guess. So everyone, remember, make towel plenty in 2020.
Make towel plenty. I like that.